Ladies and gentlemen, thank you and good evening. Tonight we have a showing here at Blair Field
Friday Night
Lights with the Jeffersonville High School Red Devils looking to defend their home against the Silver Creek Dragons. We're looking to have a great game here. Both sides have had some rough time in the season. The Red Devils 0-4 to start the season, but have had some pretty competitive games so far. Just to let you know, I'm Nathaniel Gardner, joined by Blake Beams, who will be your color commentator tonight. Blake, what are you thinking that this game is going to turn out to be?
Well, it's telling you kind of pregame, Nate. I think the number one thing you're going to be looking for between this Red Devil and Dragon squad is you've got to be seeing a very high scoring game. These teams have very solid offenses with very big play potential. Silver Creek, of course, led by quarterback Caden Oliver. There's also Bryce Henderson, the receiver. He got 2 touchdowns last week from Oliver versus Scottsburg. Silver Creek pulled away from that one, 35-21. And then the Red Devils, of course, Zion Mansfield, he's going to be playing tonight. Don Starling, the superstar receiver, transferred in from Western just last season. Quarterback Nick Schindler, of course. This team, both teams have got offense on both sides. I'd expect high scoring, and I expect exciting Friday Night Lights, like you mentioned.
And the thing with these Red Devils is we've seen, while it has been a rough season, and they are 0-4, they have been competitive in all but one of their games.
You guys all remember the 0-48 defeat by the Red Devils, but throughout all the other games, they either were one score or competitive for most of the game. Out to kick, the Red Devils are looking to kick the ball off to the Silver Creek Dragons here to start the game off. It will be number 16, Daniel Castro, with the opening kickoff, taking over for Hannah Magruder.
Ready for Friday Night Football.
Castro looking to kick, and the kick is off here in Red Devil Field, and the ball is taken, and it will be about a 10-yard gain there, a 35 at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, good kick there by, like you said, by Castro. That one over to Wyatt Hoffman. He returned that one. Not a bad return in the slightest. Him and Bryce Henderson, as we just mentioned in the pregame, one of the key players for this Silver Creek offense, were both back there at about the 18, 19-yard line. Took it up for about give him 15, 16, give or take a lead there. And, so it's going to be good starting field position for Silver Creek.
And Caden Oliver will be your starting quarterback for the Silver Creek Dragons here in shotgun with man to his right, and it will be a handoff to start the game to Kalani Fouget.
It looked like there was a fumble on the play there for a second. It looks like it was getting back.
It'll be about a 6-yard gain. That threw me off a little bit. Just a little bit of a weird functioning play right there.
Well, yeah, it was scary there. Like you mentioned, Fouget is the one that got that handoff there. He came up just a little bit. He tried to go past his offensive line, which he did make. It looked like he was kind of going to go for a break on it. And then I guess a Red Devil linebacker, I guess they went more of a zone there, and he was back there to be able to stop Fouget quite early.
Wyatt Hoffman to his right. Caden Oliver looks to take the snap, motion, and Oliver takes the snap, and it will be about a 5-yard gain there for what looks to be a first down gain by the Silver Creek Dragons.
Yeah, that definitely moved the sticks, but Ponce, you just heard him over the intercom. That was a great tackle by Ponce. He managed to find his man back there on that run. Like you said, that was Wyatt Hoffman. That's a senior player there knowing exactly where to go, but then that's just an even better junior Leland Ponce being able to find where to go there.
Oliver with a man to his left, trips to his right. Takes the snap. There's a motion in the backfield. A little bit of a miscommunication there, but the ball will be handed off to Hoffman for about a 4-yard gain there. That was a little bit of an interesting play there. It could have seemed, almost looked like a false start there that they didn't catch on the officiating crew.
Yeah, and what's really catching my eye is these short gains, and you got to kind of credit that. Is that towards the dysfunction towards the Silver Creek offense, like we're seeing? You said that you might have missed a offsides there, and I could have seen it as well. That could be playing to the Silver Creek short run there.
Oliver looks to take the snap, motion in the backfield once again, and Hoffman gets the ball once again, and it is about a 3-yard gain to have a 3rd and short here in Red Devil territory.
Yeah, good stop there by Jeff. Like you mentioned, that did get force that ball into Red Devil territory. But, you can stop it here, bring up this 4th down. It doesn't look like the Dragons are going to be passing anytime soon. So, of course, look to that backfield. Wide Hoffman's been the primary running back so far. So, look to him to kind of cut outside, I'd say.
Oliver, motion in the backfield once again, and Hoffman takes the snap one more time, and that will be good enough for a first down here. And that will bring us to a 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line.
Yeah, just like we expected, Hoffman kind of went towards the left a little bit. I expected him to take more of a curve route on there, maybe go a little bit deeper down to the left side of the field, but he managed to find a little hole just enough to move the sticks.
Motion in the backfield once again. Oliver hands the ball off, but that will be a quick stuff in the backfield. Hoffman not able to find a hole there, and the Red Devils finally stop these short gains.
Awesome play call there by the Red Devil staff. They knew exactly where Hoffman was going to run with it. He went to the exact same spot as he did to advance those sticks, and they knew exactly where he was going to be. They closed in that gap, and that gravity that Hoffman takes in, they centered around, and they managed to bring him down for a very short gain. That's really the first biggest stop we've seen for the Red Devils.
Oliver, the man to his right, one to his left. Man in his backfield, a motion once again. It will be the first pass of the game. Moving to his right. The Red Devils closing in on him, but the ball will be passed away. Looks like it was intended for Bryce Henderson, number 7, the junior wide receiver and DB for the Silver Creek Dragons, and it will be a 3rd and 10 after the incompletion there.
Yeah, Henderson was running on that slant route there, and he went well past that first down marker that they would have needed. And he was just covered by every Red Devil defender in the proximity. And it's like you said, he had his eyes locked on him the whole time. Oliver and Henderson have that connection, but it was just too far out, and then it just forced Oliver to throw that out.
Yeah, he made the smart decision there, not forcing it in. Oliver with his man Hoffman to his side, and it will be another handoff to Hoffman here in a 3-yard gain and a stifling stop by the Red Devils after that gain, and it will be a 4th down here on Blair Field. Red Devils making their substitutions, hoping to take down this Silver Creek Dragons offense here early in their first drive of the game.
Yeah, awesome read there by Ponce. That's the 2nd tackle of the game already. He managed to find his man just about a yard after the handoff, and he eventually did bring him down. He had to kind of wrap around the legs, maybe got an extra yard or 2, and it's not bad field position here for Silver Creek.
Oliver, there's motion in the backfield, and it will be a rollout to the right and a pass that is completed. That is number 3, Donovan Mosley, out there with the reception. Good reception there by Mosley.
Yeah, good find there as well by Oliver. He managed to run that kind of same slant route we saw Henderson taking on just a moment ago. And, they actually found him over the middle that time. I'm guessing the Red Devils weren't expecting a pass there. Well, why would you? You've seen so many runs already. And it was just enough to give them that first down. They advanced the stakes. Great play call there by the Dragons.
Oliver gets the snap, and it is, once again, another handoff to Hoffman, who finds the edge and gets about 6 yards on that play. And we are in the 19-yard line, reaching into the red zone of the Red Devils.
Yeah, this is just showing Hoffman's experience right here. We knew he was a senior coming into this, and I knew his experience as well, but what I'm seeing is quite impressive. What you originally saw in that motion in the backfield is it looked like he was going to head towards that right, and then he saw that gap that was starting to close because they knew he was back there. He managed to sneak behind that quarterback, take it to the left instead, got a great gain off of it, and they're in great position.
Oliver in a tight formation, and it looks to be another handoff to the side. That looks to be another player. That is number 6, Darius Gray, taking the ball there. That is actually Coloni Fugit. 3 flags called on the field. Looks to be in the area of holding there.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's either going to be an illegal man downfield or a holding like you just mentioned for the Dragons. I do want to say it is coming back here. It all came out at about the 21 through about the 18-yard line. We are well into Red Devil territory, by the way, and it does look like
a holding call there.
And it's going to go against Silver Creek, so that's going to push them back quite a bit. Great opportunity here for the Red Devils. Kind of forced this Dragons team a lot farther back.
Yeah, it will be a 2nd and 15 here at the 30-yard line in Red Devil territory. But while they're in Red Devil territory, being this far back on a downage, you don't like your odds if you're the Silver Creek Dragons here.
And I completely agree with you, especially since this is a running team. We've seen them go to Wyatt Hoffman so many times. You don't like running on 2nd and 15. This is a long way to go here.
Oliver, 2 men to his left, takes a snap, rolls out to his left, and he will trip and fall after looking down the field, and that will only be accredited to the turf monster.
Yeah, it's been a beautiful day here in Jeff all day. I haven't seen many. I wasn't expecting a slip, that's for sure. And it kind of, if you're the Dragons, that's very disappointing. I saw a great block there by the running back, Wyatt Hoffman. He managed to dig his shoulders into the blitzing defender, and then Oliver just didn't have enough to kind of keep his balance. And I don't know who he was looking for. He might have been going to try to run. I saw that as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go with that again, because what a block that was by Hoffman.
Oliver with a man to his left, 2 to his right, wide out. Motion in the backfield. Oliver passes it quickly to Wyatt Hoffman and is quickly stuffed there by Luke Elliott for the Red Devils.
Yeah, I don't even blame you trying to edge that to Kion. Kion's been phenomenal so far this year, and him and Luke Elliott provide as one of the best deep defensive back duos in all Southern Indiana. This entire Red Devil secondary is filled with stars. Luke Elliott, Kion Stevenson, Rajon Laird. He's typically in that linebacker slot, but he'll drop back to safety a lot of the times as well. This entire secondary is stacked for the Red Devils, and you just saw it there. Excellent tackle by Elliott.
Yeah, the secondary has never been the issue for the Red Devils this season. Oliver with the man to his left, and it will be another rollout to the left. No one really open up down the field, but he will get it away and close to being caught there, but it will be stopped by senior linebacker Jake Curry, WJHI member of Take the Heat, ran by Blake, Connor, and Mr. Curry.
Yeah, great play there by Jake. He does an even better job on the podcast, which you should listen to at WJHI, the Red Devil Network. Only on YouTube, by the way. But yeah, Jake there, he managed to find his man perfectly. Of course, normally he's a blitzing linebacker, but that time he actually knew that coverage was coming, so he decided to go all the way down, like you said, stopped him from going in the end zone. I believe he caused a drop pass as well. I thought the ball was brought down by the Dragons, but the intended target just couldn't hold on to it. Great play there by Jake to get that ball out of his hands.
And that will be a turnover on downs here as Nick Schindler looks to take the snap. And right in his backfield is the senior Zion Mansfield. Schindler in Mansfield. He's got 3 men to his right, Starling to his left. It is 1st and 10. 4 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in this game. 0-0. This is Red Devils' first drive of the game here so far.
I'm really liking this 3 out for Nick Schindler here. I love the shotgun that the Red Devils always run, Don Starling by himself.
And it will be a handoff to Zion Mansfield, and we see some vintage Zion Mansfield as he shoves off about 3 different tacklers here to get what is close to being a first down here on the carry, and it will be a first down at around the 45-yard line in Silver Creek territory.
Yeah, Zion had a great start to the game. I thought he was only going to get 3 yards and brought down, but I should never doubt Zion Mansfield. He's going to carry the whole team with him, which he just did with the Dragons. He took him quite a few, as you mentioned, just enough to move the sticks. Excellent blocking there by the Red Devil receivers as well to recognize that run.
Another handoff to Mansfield, who gets about 5, keeps on moving, and gets a final gain of about 7 yards there. 2 straight big carries by Mansfield, who had a bit of a down game last game, but he looks to be showing his power early in this game.
Yeah, good way to get into Silver Creek territory as well. I'm loving the crowd here for Jeffersonville so far.
Yeah, this is one of those small games, but Red Devils fans still show up. And there will be a pass to Starling for a first down here at the 41-yard line in Silver Creek territory. Just a good connection there from Schindler to Starling, one of his favorite receivers this season.
Yeah, and a great read there by the defensive back, of course, Chase Calhoun, the senior for the Dragons. He managed to read Starling basically the whole way, but Starling's just such a good catcher. He's able to bring that ball down and stay in bounds.
Yeah, last week we had 2 deep passes to start the game. And that will be a handoff to Mansfield. A flag thrown on the play, but if the flag is not on the Red Devils, it will be near a first down gain here by Mansfield.
Yeah, that flag was in the backfield, so we might have seen some illegal motion on the Red Devils, and they do look to be heading back.
Schindler a little bit frustrated with the refs out there, and they will move back after a holding call on the Red Devils.
Yeah, that had to be on the line somewhere, obviously. It was at the line of scrimmage. I'm not quite sure who we just saw that on. And great move there by the Dragons to not necessarily go after Mansfield like that. You don't want to waste all your energy when a flag's going to come right out on the field.
Definitely not.
Yeah, and just disappointing for the Red Devils. You were off to a great offensive drive to this offensive drive. And, I'm sure they'd love the rebound. It's still first down. You're just going to have to reset the play just a little bit farther back.
It looks like around 1st and 10. The 1st and 20, though. Wow. That's a tough down and distance. Schindler, man on his back. 2 to his right and left. Schindler passes the ball, and it will be a missed connection to Brandon Curl out there on the side. Schindler's usually accurate. Just a little bit of miscommunication there on that play.
I actually think he was basically pretty much on the money with that. Curl might have slipped. I think he's just a little bit late on. It was a curl route, because of course it was. He's just a little bit late on that curl route there. Wasn't able to turn his body all the way because he had separation from his defender. He was going to come down with that ball, but I don't think he entirely located properly. Maybe he was thrown a little bit too early too.
Schindler with Mansfield on his back. A motion by Jacob Kokola, but it looks like there might have been a flag on that motion as he was going a little bit forward there.
Yeah,
and the Red Devils are going to have a second and around 25. Yeah, 25. Wow.
And was that Kokola? I saw him moving in the backfield, obviously, but I didn't know if he went forward. I thought it might have been a Red Devil offensive lineman. I'm not quite sure.
I don't know what you and me have saw about. I only saw Kokola move.
Yeah.
Schindler with Mansfield, with him in the backfield, and it will be a pass here by the Red Devils, a quick screen pass to Mansfield, who gets a lot of tacklers away from him. He keeps on pushing forward and gets back to the original sticks, and it will be a 3rd down and 9 here, which, a 3rd down and 9 is still long for the Red Devils, but to get into a manageable distance after those rough penalties is a great, it's great for them.
Yeah, that was an 18-yard gain. Zion Mansfield, I don't know how he made anything out of that screen pass. There was a Dragon linebacker right in front of him, and he still managed to squeak past. Awesome gain there. Nice way to drag a few men with you.
You can always expect Mansfield to evade the first tackler, and he does it once again, and he pushes for the first down here in Blair Field. That will be a 15-yard gain by Mansfield, who comes off the field after that enormous gain for the Red Devils.
Yeah, awesome gain there. He was able to move those sticks like you just mentioned. Now you're in the 30. Get Brandon Harris out here. Great receptionist in the backfield.
Harris on his back. Starling to his left. Will he throw it to Starling here? It will be a handoff to Harris, who has filled in quite great for Zion, who gets about 2 yards here. Silver Creek Dragons looking to stop the Red Devils from putting points on the board quickly in this game.
Yeah, it is only 2nd down, like you just mentioned. The Red Devils, they do need to get a little bit bigger gains here if they want to move these sticks. Zion Mansfield, he's still on the sideline. Brandon Harris, he's still out there for the Red Devils. So I want to see if they run with him again. Maybe go towards Starling.
And that will be a handoff to Harris, who gets around 5 yards there to get a 3rd and quite short here.
Yeah, great way to evade that defensive line that was kind of just standing still. You weren't going to see a blitz on that play, as they weren't sure to see maybe a Brandon Harris screen. Maybe you're going to go deep to someone like Don Starling, like I just mentioned. But instead, great read there by Harris. He was able to find his way past that line. Good gain, 3rd and very short.
Mansfield back out on the field. Schindler gets a Silver Creek defender to jump there. Good veteran leadership there by Schindler to get the offsides call. And that will be a first down after that offsides. That was a great hard count there by Schindler.
Yeah, and as you get older, especially in high school, you're going to develop that deeper voice. And I know it sounds kind of, out of here, but that's exactly what happened. Nick Schindler managed to make him jump on that one.
Blake, you've discovered puberty. Schindler gets the ball. Mansfield to his right, blocking, and it will be a pass here, and it will be dropped by Curl. Could have been a touchdown there for the Red Devils. Just slipped out of his hands.
Yeah, Curl, he tried to catch that there with his body and not his hands, and I do understand he did have a Dragon defensive back right behind him, so if he was to get hit with that ball, it could have even been a fumble. But yeah, he caught it with the body and not with the hands, and you're never going to secure a ball that way.
Definitely not, Blake. Schindler with Mansfield to his right, Coca-Cola and Starling to his left. There will be a timeout called on the field. We will get to you in just a second on who it was called by.
We're about to wind down first quarter here. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from both teams. The Red Devils, of course. We've only had one offensive drive on each team. The Red Devils, of course, they're still in their on their first one. And, man, we're already down to the end of the first quarter. This has been some entertaining football.
Sure has been. Definitely not your high-scoring game, but
yeah, I didn't even realize the prediction.
Has been a running game by both sides, and we didn't really necessarily expect that, as last week we saw 3 passing touchdowns by Caden Oliver, and 2 of those to Bryce Henderson. And the Red Devils also had those deep touchdowns to Starling to start out their game against Floyd Central. We're seeing a completely different team from both sides this game so far. Back out on the field is the Red Devils and the Silver Creek Dragons. Red Devils look to slay the Dragon tonight in this game. In the backfield, Mansfield. Motion by Coca-Cola, and it will be a handoff to Mansfield, who pushes forward, trips up by the turf monster there around the 6-yard line. That was a good run there by Mansfield.
Yeah, Mansfield, of course, gets the Red Devils well into the red zone now. Great find there by the Dragons to keep track of him. He might drag you with him just in case. Like you mentioned, that turf monster kind of got him there. Ended up tripping up just a little bit, just barely a few yards away from that end zone. I have a feeling if he didn't trip up there, he's going to be well inside. And, yeah, like I said, great read by the Dragons. I'm sure that pressure is what made him trip and fall there. And, yeah, but this is not looking good for Silver Creek, as it looks like Jeffersonville, they're knocking on the door of a touchdown.
And after that play, it will wind us into our second quarter of game. And you are listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network. Also tune in on channel 184 and our YouTube channel, WJHI Red Devil Network.
Can't forget WJHI.com also.
WJHI.com.
We got them
of course,
all.
you got it, Blake.
We were talking about Take the Heat podcast earlier. You know what else you can't forget? It's also on Facebook. Go to WJHI Facebook right there. Watch Take the Heat podcast. Blake Beans, Jake Curry, Connor Seifrey. Nate, you produce.
Yeah, I do. And it is a 0-0 game to start out. But you can't necessarily say that these offenses are the issue. They are just both run-heavy teams to start out this game, and that's chewing up a lot of the clock so far.
Yeah, and what I'm really liking from the Red Devils is that this is normally a very big play team as well. You're going to see a lot of deep passes to Don Starling. You're going to see Zion Mansfield bust through for 40, 50 yards per run.
I like to see the methodical look.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's working, too. You know what I mean? It's breaking down the Silver Creek defense, wearing them out.
And as we swap the field, the Red Devils will look to punch it in here. Mansfield on the field, Starling on the right, and Curl also on the right of Schindler. Schindler looks to receive the snap from Aiden Kern as the refs deliberate on the start of this quarter here. third and very short here in the red zone of the Red Devils. Will be fourth down territory. Schindler with Mansfield on his back. Kokola with the motion, and Mansfield will maybe get a yard there, but maybe he'll actually be moved back around a half a yard, and it will be a 4th and 2 here in Blair Field.
Yeah, that was rough there for the Red Devils. Jake Kokola, like you mentioned, he was moving in that backfield, and he got just over in time to a block for Mansfield there, and I'm guessing there was just too much space not open over there, too much, I guess, clutter, I guess you could say, and he wasn't able to break away at all. You mentioned it was kind of a loss, so it looks like it kind of stayed the same.
Schindler and Mansfield probably looking to rush the ball again, and it will be another handoff to Mansfield, who looks to not get the first down here.
That's going to be a turnover on downs, Nate.
Wow. The Red Devils punching it in far into the red zone, but just not able to finish. And the Silver Creek Dragons, led by Caden Oliver, will look to take the field once again, backed up in their own end zone.
Man, if you give me that exact circumstance 100 times, 99 out of 100 times, Zion Mansfield's going to get that first down. He just had 2 different plays where he was 1 yard away, and then he got stuffed both times. And it was great play calling, too. We saw it first, that Kokola block, and then we tried to get Mansfield to the outside. Just an excellent read there by that Silver Creek defensive line. And turnover on downs, that's a ridiculously great play for where they were at.
Most definitely, and it will be, after that turnover on downs, Caden Oliver out to pass the ball to, and it will be a handoff to Fugit out there. About a 3-yard gain there, and it will be 2nd and 7 here on this play.
Yeah, I want to see more. Yeah, I guess I'd want to see more rushes from Silver Creek again. We mentioned how Wyatt Hoffman just last quarter was running, I wouldn't say running all over the Red Devils. They kind of managed to find out what he was working with, find out what he was good at. So maybe rush out more to the outside. I've always liked outside rushes just because it gets you more space to create, and in this level, you know, you're always going to have the speed on your side.
The one thing with this position here, they have a pretty big blocking position here, and it will be another handoff to Hoffman here. Actually, Fugit on the play for about 3 yards here, and it will be a 3rd and 5 here. That was Jake Curry, the senior and WJHI member and Take the Heat podcast host on the tackle.
We love the Take the Heat plug. Please keep going. Please keep going.
You know, Blake, it's going to your head.
Say, I've known that well long enough.
Oliver with Hoffman to his left. 2 other men to his left. He will have another rollout, and it will be, it looks like a sack there. Yes, it will be number 33, Montreal Mons, on the sack there. Jake Curry following right behind him.
Yeah, and I have zero doubts that intended man, if they were to pass, was going to be Bryce Henderson. He was right up to the complete left side. He was by himself on the left as well. And by the time he got that sack there, he's already up to about the 38-yard line. That was going to be a huge gain if the Dragons managed to get that. Just an excellent play call there by the Red Devils. They knew that line was a bit weak, so they decided to drive.
And now it will be a 4th down here for the Dragons. Punt block territory for the Red Devils. But the punt will go away. A short clunker of a punt there by the Dragons. And that will leave the Red Devils back in Silver Creek territory once again to start this drive here.
Yeah, not the best kick there by the Dragons, and it gives the Red Devils excellent field position. I'd love to see you continue that rushing with Mansfield. I think that I mentioned 99 out of 100 times. I think Mansfield's going to get that first down earlier, so I'd love to see him keep running there. Probably going to get a big gain. If not, I'll settle for a bunch of shorts as well.
Yeah, definitely. And Starling, while he has been the deep threat for the Red Devils, look to see him get involved in the passing game in this game as well. Mansfield to his right, 3 other men to his right, including Kokola and Curl. Starling wide open on the left. And it will be a handoff to Mansfield here. Just a quick inside zone to get about 7 yards, but a flag will be called on the field in the area of holding.
Yeah, it does look like it's going to go against the Red Devils. Either way, a great run there by Mansfield. Unfortunately, looks like, and yes, it will be getting taken back. You mentioned he kind of found that inside zone, managed to get past one defender, managed to find a space on another. Then he was basically off to the races until a moment, and then one linebacker managed to find his way over. Found Mansfield, brought him down, but in the end, it's all not really going to matter. You're being brought back 5 yards anyway.
You wonder if that zone was only open because of the holding call.
Yeah, could have been very true as well. I mean, go back 10 yards, by the way. Pardon me on that. I had 5. Yeah, I guarantee you that could have been the exact reason that hole was there.
Schindler with Mansfield to his back. It will be once again another handoff to Mansfield, who regains all of those yards he just lost on the penalty, and he'll get back to the same position he was earlier, a 2nd down and 5.
Yeah, you get to replay that first down. Why don't you just get back to where you originally were? Great move there by Mansfield, like you just mentioned. Got great, better field position. Now you're at second and basically medium.
Mansfield said, penalty? Nuh-uh. I can get back. Schindler, Mansfield on his back. Once again, another handoff to Mansfield, our workhorse, powerful running back here. We'll get about 3 yards on the gain and a 3rd and quite short here in Silver Creek territory.
Yeah, he just ran right into that line. There was a tussle on the offensive and defensive line, and he didn't try to go past him. He didn't try to go around him or anything. He just went straight in that line. Unfortunately, got brought down.
Schindler, hard count. Hopefully trying to get the Dragons to go off sides once again. Schindler with a handoff to Mansfield, who will find the edge here. Gets the first down and many more. Mansfield close to a touchdown. Will it be a touchdown? It will be. The Red Devils rejoice here in Blair Field as Zion Mansfield scores a 40-yard touchdown to get our first score of the game here. It is 6-0 here in Blair Field, looking to be 7 points after the extra point.
Awesome call there. They knew Mansfield, if he could get some room, he could take off. He's very explosive, like you said, Nate. Managed to find a sweep route right to the right side of the field. You know what they saw? They saw one linebacker was on the extra side of the right. They knew Zion Mansfield loved to run there, so instead he went towards that right. They left that left wide open on their side. Then Mansfield was able to go right through, like you said. Nearly got brought down near the end zone, but perfectly hit that pylon. Perfect score for the Red Devils.
And the extra point by Magruder is good to make the score 7-0 here in Blair Field to start this game. 7 and 18 seconds remaining in this first half of play here. The Red Devils, a good start to the game so far. By the way, I'd just like to mention real quick, you are listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network. You can also tune in on cable channel 184, our Facebook and YouTube channels, as well as WJHI.com. And taking kickoff duties is Daniel Castro. Magruder kicked off most of this season, but we saw Castro kick off a few of our balls last game against the Highlanders, looking to continue his kickoff duties.
Yeah, he started the game kicking it off as well, so the Red Devils will receive that second half kickoff.
Castro gives it to the ref. Ref checks the ball. Seems to be good.
So 7:18 to go here in the second period. If you're the Red Devils, that's the perfect time to score just now. Carrying all your momentum to this next drive. You made a great fourth down stop last drive as well. Look to keep it up. Maybe get Mansfield back out there for another rush and hopefully another touchdown as well.
Henderson and Hoffman look to receive the ball here against the Red Devils. Kind of an odd formation by the Red Devils here. But it will be kicked away to Hoffman, and Hoffman gets the ball and keeps pushing forward, but looks to only get about a 15-yard return there.
Yeah, you mentioned that 15-yard return. Hoffman was about right at that 20, and he got up to about the 34, like you just said. And yeah, good run there. I like when a returner runs straight into the defense. Like seriously, I'm not even kidding, because I think when there's so much confusion going on in the field, you can kind of find a way up the middle. Didn't really get there that time, but still not a bad gain.
And one thing I'd like to comment on real here is the weird huddles that I'm seeing tonight by Silver Creek. Not the conventional huddle.
Yeah, looks like he's leading a choir or something. He's like a director.
I mean, in a way, he is orchestrating this offense out here. There will be a flag called in the secondary here that will go against the Silver Creek Dragons, actually. I wonder what the back judge saw on that play there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either, especially like you said, it was all the way back in the Red Devils secondary. Let's see if we get a call on that. Was it an illegal shift? It was an illegal shift, it looks like. Yeah, that was going to be an illegal shift on that one.
Probably saw a motion go forward on that play all the way back there. And it will be a quick handoff here to Fugit on that play.
Yeah, still not quite back to that line of scrimmage. Great way for the Red Devils to bring up second down. If you're the Dragons, I'm probably looking to go right up the middle once again. You're going to get some nice room, especially once those linebackers start to break apart. When you're getting you got more yards to go deeper in the downs. You're going to be playing more zone coverage. So be expecting a hole, probably in that linebacker slot. I'd go right up the middle if I'm the Dragons.
Fugit back on the field for this play. Looks to get the ball once again, and he will be quickly stuffed by the entirety, almost the whole Red Devils defense converged on him on that play.
Yeah, and I saw a very, very slippery team there. The Red Devils just were on that defensive line of Silver Creek. It looks like they were going straight in for just a very solid pancake block on everybody, but instead I saw the Red Devils be a bit more strategized with it, and they decided to get past them instead of fight through them. And the Red Devils have worked perfectly. It brought him down, still behind that line of scrimmage.
There was actually only 2 Red Devil members of their defense that were not in on that play, and those were corners that were looking to stop the pass if a pass was called. And we will have a timeout here on the field by Silver Creek, as it is 3rd and 10 here at the 35-yard line in Silver Creek territory. 5 minutes and 54 seconds remain in this game. Red Devils have a 7-0 lead here after Mansfield had his 42-yard touchdown.
Was it 42 yards? I had 33 written down. That kid's unbelievable, Nate. I mean, we mentioned how he saw his way out to the outside there. It kind of leaves you at a loss for words that he's able to be such a nice power back, and he has the explosiveness to take it all the way to their right, and to recognize that. The Dragons, like we just said, they had nobody on their left side of the field. So on the Red Devils' right side, they knew exactly where to run for. And that was all Mansfield. I want to say that original play call was maybe to go just short of the middle and maybe just get pound it in for a little bit as you were still at first down. And you were able to push it all the way to the outside and go all the way in. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Mansfield. I'm loving the offensive play calling. And especially what they're doing just on the fly has been bewildering so far for the Red Devils.
Mansfield doesn't care about that game plan. He wants the touchdown on every play. Motion in the backfield once again, and it will be a rollout to the left, covered by many Red Devils. Oh, and that will be a incomplete pass there, covered by Kion Stevenson. Wow, that could have been a big play, but Stevenson with the tight coverage didn't let the ball get there. Wasn't playing too tight to make it a pass interference call there as well.
Yeah, that was going to be a gigantic play. That one intended for the running back, Fugit. He was wide open that whole time, and I thought for sure that was going to get to him, and I thought he was going to be gone for an easy Dragons touchdown. But Kion Stevenson just ceases to amaze me. He won Play of the Week a few weeks ago in the News and Tribune as well. He's shown out that he's probably one of the best players that this Red Devil secondary has ever seen in the school's history. Yeah. And I just love watching him. He read Fugit the whole way, and he caught up to him is the craziest part.
He has some good closing speed out there. Curl and number 7, DeMonte Brown out to receive the punt. Just another short punt there by the Silver Creek Dragons. Luckily, the bounce takes the punt even further, and it will be a 1st and 10 for the Red Devils at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, that was a great bounce there, like you just mentioned, for the Dragons. I saw DeMonte Brown signaling that ball was kind of get stopped at about the 33, but it did bounce, like you just mentioned, about 8 yards. Not a very good starting field position if you're the Red Devils. Great kick there if you're the Dragons. And, I mean, if you want to carry any sort of momentum going into halftime, you need to stop Jeffersonville here. They've got the explosiveness, and one of those plays doesn't even have to result in a score. It's going to carry everything into halftime, and that second half would be a struggle for the Dragons.
Schindler with Curl to his right, trips to his left, Mansfield in the backfield. And it will be a quick hit play action there, but tipped by a Silver Creek defender as it was intended for Starling.
Yeah, that was Coolin Garlock there, the defensive lineman for the Dragons, like we just mentioned. Nick Schindler, I don't know who he was looking for. It didn't look like he was going to either side of the field. It kind of just looked like he's going right over the middle. I guess we might have been seeing a slant route. Maybe there was a tight end out there that was looking to get there, but an excellent block there.
Mansfield gets the ball here about 5 yards on the play. Mansfield actually is not down. I saw another Red Devil down on that play, and he will get about 7 yards here for a third and quite short, third and inches here.
Yeah, and you could say no matter how many times you want that, it's very close to getting this first down and moving the sticks, but it's still third down. We just saw it earlier that Zion Mansfield couldn't convert on those two previously. I have a strong feeling to be able to get to on this one if that's what they go for, but you never know.
Mansfield gets the ball once again and will be not able to get the first down yardage here. Once again stuffed in a third and short position. You wonder if the Red Devils are confident enough in their offense to get the first down here.
Well, I would definitely be confident enough to be able to get the first down, but I don't know if I'd like to do it this far down the field. You are well into your own territory, and you are only 4.5 minutes away from halftime. That clock is still going, Nate. If the Dragons do manage to score, and we do see a timeout for Jeffersonville, but if Silver Creek did manage to score there, they would take, and it's so important in this level of the game, they would take all the momentum going into halftime, and they would carry it throughout the rest of that second half.
Yeah, and the Red Devils here probably just choosing to have a little bit more time on their debate here, and Coach Parker just figuring out the pros and cons of going for it or just punting the ball away. You have a pretty good punter in Ethan Phillips. He's shown that he can swap field position pretty well for the Red Devils in this season.
Yeah, he'll get the ball really downfield, and he knows how to keep the ball from bouncing, so if he does manage to get it, say like the 5-yard line, which, that's quite the kick, he's going to be able to keep it in. He knows exactly how to place those laces. He knows how to kick the ball to keep it from going anywhere if he doesn't need it to. He knows how to kick it to go somewhere if he does need it to. So you do got a great, viable punt option, but you got a solid offense as well.
And the offense will be out there after deliberation on the timeout. Mansfield to the back of Schindler. 2 receivers to his left and right. It will be under center, and Schindler will go for a QB sneak there. It will be quite close on this call, and it will be a first down for the Red Devils after a small gain there by Schindler.
Awesome play call. That's all you can really say when the quarterback kind of just flops ahead a few inches. Yeah, you weren't probably expecting that if you were the Dragons. I don't think the Red Devils have ran a QB sneak once this year. So excellent time to pull that out, and that's going to advance first down. Time's still winding down. The Red Devils, this play calling's impressed me so far.
Schindler with Mansfield to his right. It will be a pass here quickly to Kokola, who gets about 4 yards on that pass.
Love seeing the tight end getting those targets. He's one big guy out there. Kokola played a little bit of quarterback while Schindler was out for the first few weeks, and he moved quite well, and as we just saw there, he can create separation from his defender. He's 6'3", sure towers over him. You can either go right above the head or you can go right to him if he finally gets that separation, which he just did. And great move there by Kokola. Great find there as well by Schindler.
DeMonte Brown, Kokola, and Curl to his right, as Schindler passes the ball, and it will be a dropped interception there by number 6, Darius Gray of the Silver Creek Dragons. I'd like to quickly mention it is a 7-0 ball game. 3 minutes and 23 seconds remaining here in Blair Field. The Red Devils looking to get another score once again, or maybe just not allow the Silver Creek Dragons to get back on the field. Schindler, Mansfield to his right. Starling to his left. Mansfield takes the snap and gets the first down and keeps on going. He's pushing over and over again. The Red Devils assist him to make that even more of a gain there. Oh, Silver Creek is cheering. There might have been a fumble there.
Yeah, there's the fumble right there. I'm guessing Silver Creek jumped on that ball as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an excellent run there by Mansfield. I guess he just couldn't hold on to it. And unfortunate turn of events for the Red Devils. At least you managed to get it into Silver Creek territory. But what a gain that would have been. And that would have pushed the Red Devils really far down into that territory.
Yeah, and that's a tough position there as the pile was moving on. I don't think Zion had fumbled in the beginning of that pile there until later on. Just, you wonder why it also wasn't called down yet.
I mean, I don't think he would have been considered down by contact. He's such a big guy, he can drag an entire line wherever he goes.
Yeah, is that man ever down by contact? There will be a flag. Actually, there will be a timeout by the Red Devils here, trying to deliberate with their defense after that turnover. The defense most definitely was not looking to get on the field yet in this half, but they had to after the turnover.
Yeah, and Red Devils got to be careful there. You almost sacrificed the flag for a few yards, and that would have put Silver Creek even farther down, well, maybe into your territory. And that's not what you want in the slightest. You just turned the ball over right there. Yeah, they got a lot of momentum on that defensive side. The last thing you want is for that offense to get that same.
Most definitely, Blake. It is 7-0 ball game. 3 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the game here in Blair Field.
In the first half. 3-11 in the first half. I predicted a high-scoring game. If we got a 7-0 game between these two teams, I'm going to have to reconsider my career choice.
Real quickly, you're listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network. The Red Devil defense looks to stop the Silver Creek Dragons from getting a score on the field here. Caden Oliver looks to put a score for the Dragons on the board. Oliver with Fugit in the backfield. And it will be a pass play here. Oliver throws it deep, but that will be a incompletion as it was intended for Mosley there. Closely guarded by Kion Stevenson.
Yeah, just two overthrown. Donovan Mosley. He's listed as a quarterback on our roster here. He's also a cornerback, so I guess he can get those receiver minutes. And I think it was a great read by him, and also a great read there by that Red Devil secondary. But just overthrown way too much by Caden Oliver. Keep overthrowing like that, you're not going to find your man. You're not going to find the end zone.
You wonder why they're doing this passing, as they had quite good rushing to start the game here. There'll be a timeout on the field. Once again, I believe this is Silver Creek's final timeout of the half here, as they look to deliberate how they can get back to what they saw on that first half. I know, of course, they didn't get a score on the board, but they had a pretty good methodical offense that got them far down the field, just weren't able to punch it in.
Yeah, and best part is the Red Devils, it's really wasting a lot of clock.
Yeah.
Silver Creek isn't going to receive that second half ball that's going to go towards the Red Devils. So it was a great way there by the Red Devil defense, intentional or not, to keep that Dragons offense out on the field and then stop them just enough to where they can't punch into the end zone or maybe through the goalpost for a field goal.
As the Red Devils come back out on defense on this play after the Silver Creek Dragons had a timeout. It is a 7-0 ball game, 3 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the game here at Blair Field. It is a 2nd and 10 here. Caden Oliver looks to take the snap. Motion in the backfield, and it will be a pitch to Charles Berkeley, and Berkeley gets about 6 yards there. Correction, that is Bryce Henderson.
so the receiver can play running back as well. An excellent run there by the junior Bryce Henderson. He's only 5'9", 160. He looks a lot bigger from up here, and I guess that's the reason he was able to get such a gain there. He managed to dig his shoulder down, got through a few Red Devil linebackers once he got past that original defensive line. Was brought down just short of that first down marker, but excellent run there by Henderson.
2 minutes and 30 seconds and counting. Jamari Powell in the backfield. And it will be a pass attempt here, and it will be completed to Bryce Henderson. There will be a flag on the play. Let's see what happened after that play.
Could have been a late hit. Was he out of bounds when he hit him on there?
Looks like the Dragons are moving forward, so you'd imagine it was a penalty on the Red Devils.
Regardless, a great reception there by Henderson. I guess they retracted. No, there they go. They're moving it up.
That was a personal foul called on Jeffersonville there. They had a pretty rough game with personal fouls. Saw a player get ejected last game. Looking as a coach, you don't want to see those. You need to get your team chemistry back together and cut down on those personal fouls. A 1st and 10 for Silver Creek in the red zone. And it will be, once again, another toss in the backfield to 7, Bryce Henderson, who will push it far into the red zone of the Red Devils, getting to about the 7-yard line.
Yeah, you mentioned Henderson managed to sneak his way into the red zone there against the Red Devils. Excellent find. He took that outside route that we've been begging for both teams to take, as you get so much separation out there, especially when you're a player like Henderson who creates space with or without the ball. We saw him there with the ball, managed to take it, finessed a few Red Devil defenders, got inside that 10-yard line.
Henderson had 2 touchdowns last game. Oliver looks to maybe go for Henderson once again on this play. Oliver with the snap rolls out to his right, and it looks like he will just keep running, and he knocks over a Red Devil defender there. There will be a flag called on that play.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that flag was for either. That shoulder was brought down by Oliver, and he ran over a Red Devil defender. That is not a flag, clearly. That's just playing football. So I don't know what we're going to see here. It was way too late for an offsides. I guess it could have been holding.
Flag. Too much baller movement.
It does look like it is going to go into the Dragons, so lucky break there for the Red Devils. Get them out of that 10-yard line.
Yeah, and it makes it a rare 1st and goal, but it's not in the regular goal area after a holding call.
The 10-yard penalty brought them back quite a bit. Goes the Dragons. It's going to bring up 3rd and 9.
As Oliver looks to take the pass here with 2 minutes left on the clock here in Blair Field. Oliver takes the snap once again, another pass, but goes into the dirt intended for Bryce Henderson on that play.
Henderson ran his route. I'm guessing there was a little bit of miscommunication right before that play, as he didn't go out for that ball at all. He ran the route, then stood still, and the throw wasn't early. It could have even been late, as Henderson turned around, and that's when the ball was let go from Oliver's hand. And there was just no move made there by Henderson. Maybe he just thought it was better, just let it fall, so he couldn't have turned it over, maybe got a loss of yards.
Yeah, that might have been what you call an executive decision there by the quarterback to throw it into the ground. Oliver gets the snap once again, another pass attempt here, and that is completed to number 6, Darius Gray, who makes it into the end zone here. 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in the half, and it will be a 6-0, the 6-7 game here, pending the extra point.
What a run after catch there from Gray. He managed to shake off one Red Devil defender, then he did a little bit of a juke move where he didn't necessarily go one way than the other. He more so stopped, stood straight up. A Red Devil defender flew right past him, managed to sneak it in for the touchdown there. Great 15-yard run.
Troutman with the extra point attempt there, and she is good to make the ball game 7-7. 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in the half in Blair Field. The Red Devils have had a good start to the game, but of course just allowed that late touchdown in the first half. Hopefully they, with 1 minute and 50 seconds, can punch it in for a quick touchdown to regain that momentum that they had for most of that half.
Yeah, if I'm the Red Devils, I'm not worried about that end zone trip at all. Obviously, you'd prefer it not to go down, but that was just an excellent run after catch there by Gray. He's normally a quarterback, so I'm kind of surprised to see him get those receiver reps and working quite well, actually. And, but it was a great read, but he's just a bit too shifty out there. The Red Devils were probably expecting a little bit more. And, just a great read. Managed to make it into the end zone. Great score.
Yeah, and once again, a kickoff return opportunity here for the Red Devils. Starling and Kion Stevenson look to receive the ball. And Stevenson, if I'd like to just mention real quick, just a few games ago in our 0-48 loss, could have been one of our scorers, but he was called back after there was a pretty weak illegal block in the back call in that game. Carly Troutman looks to kick the ball off to Starling and Stevenson.
So 7-all now with a minute 50 to go here. Second period of play. We just saw Silver Creek come off their first score of the game. It was a 15-yard receiving touchdown by Gray. All those yards came after that run after catch. Nice way to shift there past those Red Devils defenders. Love seeing them get into the end zone.
Troutman with the kickoff here to Starling, but that almost went out of bounds, but Starling gets the ball there. Oh man, that's an interesting decision there. If he would have just put 1 foot out of bounds and grabbed that ball, it would have been an out of bounds call there.
Yeah, it was dangerous. He touched that ball, and he thought he had grasp of it. Obviously not. It fell out of his hands, and he jumped on it before those Dragons came over there. And, lucky. They would have been inside the Red Devil 20.
Most definitely. And, that's a tough play for Starling because, obviously, you're not necessarily thinking about the football decision and getting to the 40-yard line from getting your feet out of bounds on the reception there. But it is a tough position there, as Starling is out next to Kakola on this play. Schindler with Mansfield on his back hands it off quickly to Mansfield, who gets around a 3-yard gain here at a first and which will now be a 2nd and 5 here on the play.
Yeah, 2nd and manageable here for Zion. I do like the small punching plays here, but you are winding under just under a minute and a half, and you got the ball. Why not go a bit deep? Maybe not go all the way to maybe force a turnover.
Red Devils running tempo. Mansfield in the backfield still. And it will be a pass attempt here. Schindler is taken down, though, on the play by number 45. That is James Kearney.
Yeah, awesome pass rush there by the Silver Creek Dragons defense. Managed to break that defensive line of the Red Devils, managed to find Schindler. Schindler was trailing back, and a lot of times what we'll see is Schindler trails back way too early. That time really couldn't have gone early enough, and he did manage to sneak back there, so he didn't lose a ton of yardage there, but it is quite a significant sack. It's going to set the Red Devils back quite a bit.
Yeah, you wonder, with 40 seconds remaining in this half, if the Red Devils look to hopefully not get a turnover here as it is 3rd down and just run out the clock going into the half and hopefully just end it with a tie. And it will be a handoff to Mansfield. Who knows? He could get it far, but he gets it to around the original line of scrimmage, as it will be a 4th down here and almost assuredly will run us into the second half of play here and halftime here.
Yeah, good half on overall for both sides. I really liked what the Red Devils were able to do at the beginning. Slowed down a little bit nearing the end of that second quarter while the Dragons just sped up there. And, both teams, I really liked it on offense. I was expecting a lot high scoring, as I was mentioning earlier. That's not what we've seen. We have seen a lot of short gains for the Red Devils. We've seen a lot of deep attempts for Silver Creek. Both have kind of balanced each other out. They've both gotten down the field, and they've both played very nice, methodical offenses.
This is very much what the old heads would love as football fans. You have those short passes. You have those continuous runs, which have been successful for both teams. You have that ground and pound offense, which has been quite successful and has our clock running pretty quickly in this game so far. And one thing I'd like to touch on real quickly, what would be your keys for the Red Devils to make this a little bit less of a close game going into the second half?
I would kind of just keep doing what you're going for right now. I really like the methodical offensive tempos both teams are going with, especially the Red Devils. I feel like this team tries to go big way too often instead of kind of just trying to punch it downfield like we've seen so far this game, and it's worked. I think this is probably one of the best we've seen the Red Devil offense so far this season. They've had a lot higher scoring games, but then they're going to waste all that energy over there. It's going to go right back on defense, it's going to reciprocate, and then Silver Creek, in this example, would be the ones to take it all the way back. So I really like the methodical pace. Control the game. You only control the clock, control the game, be the ones that are going to run the clock down, be the ones that are going to be the ones ending the game.
Yeah, and one thing I'd say for the Silver Creek Dragons, if they wanted a chance to pull the score away from the Red Devils, I'd say just connect on those big plays. They had a lot of large pass attempts, but they were just able to get it far, but no reception. You're listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network. You can also tune in on our YouTube channel, WJHI, our website, WJHI.com, and our Facebook and Instagram social accounts.
It's also 7-all here. We are just entering this halftime period. Started out pretty good for the Red Devils. Zion Mansfield was able to break away after not playing a lot of that Floyd Central game last week and dealing with some ankle issues as well throughout the season. Nice to see him back in, up and running. Had a 33-yard touchdown, and Hannah Magruder was able to get that extra point to go. I like that from the Red Devil offense. Run with Zion more often, even though that's probably 80% of what this Red Devil offense has gone for so far. And then a 15-yard receiving touchdown from Gray for the Dragons. That extra point was good as well, and that was all run after catch. He managed to find two Red Devil defenders that looked to be on the weak side. Managed to take their ankles a few times, was a bit shifty, dodged one more defender, walked right into the end zone. Great play, didn't waste much energy, wasted quite a bit of time as well. And that's kind of what brought us to this halftime period. They were able to keep the Red Devils from scoring once again, as they will be receiving the second half ball.
Yeah, one thing for the Red Devils, while you said, yes, probably 80% of the snaps have gone to Mansfield, I'd say to be even more successful, make it around 90% in this game.
So the only thing I don't like about maybe pushing that up a little bit is that last time we saw Mansfield out on the field,
he did fumble.
Yeah, he did have that fumble, and I don't think that's because Mansfield's getting tired. I think that's just because Silver Creek's expecting it now. That's kind of what happened with the Red Devils earlier, how they were able to stop Silver Creek on fourth down. That's how Silver Creek was able to stop the Red Devils on fourth down multiple times, because they were all on Zion Mansfield runs.
And this is not a knock on Zion Mansfield out here at all. Just as any running back, even in the professional leagues, if you continually get the ball over and over again, even if you have great endurance, that just knocks on your fatigue levels out there and may make you have a rare misstep out on the field, and Mansfield had that on the field.
Well, fatigue is huge at this level, and especially in the earlier weeks. We were playing in 90, 95-degree weather. It's a beautiful night out here tonight, don't get me wrong. Here in Jeffersonville, I think we're going to say, 67 degrees, somewhere around there. It's beautiful weather. It's perfect football weather. And, a lot of dudes, Mansfield as well, was struggling early in the year. He kept cramping. It was hot outside. You know what I mean? They kept using him quite a bit. And I feel like going into the season, you could use him more. And they have been using him a lot more. And we've been seeing some turnovers as well, but it's also been successful. We saw the Red Devils score first drive of the game. We saw Zion Mansfield kind of carry his way through the game as well, and I'd be expecting him more in the second half.
Yeah, the one interesting thing about this game so far has been Mansfield. Of course, we saw he had a pretty good touchdown, about a 21-yard touchdown last game against Floyd Central. But after that touchdown, he kind of was shut down by the Highlanders for the rest of that game. Let's see if Mansfield can continue his dominance in this game to the second half. It is a 7-7 ball game. 15 minutes remaining in our halftime period here at Blair Field. You're listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network. I'm Nathaniel Gardner on play-by-play, joined by Blake Beams, the host of Take the Heat podcast.
Yeah, and so the Red Devils and Silver Creek, these are two non-conference foes. Of course, the Red Devils, they're slotted in at the Hoosier Hills Conference. I want to say they're currently dead last right there at the moment. Of course, the Red Devils are entering tonight 0-4, looking to change their fortunes here. And Silver Creek, I believe they're fourth in the Mid-Southern Conference. They're entering 3-2, coming off a 35-21 win over the Scottsburg Warriors. That was at Silver Creek. And so they had that home field advantage. They haven't fared very well versus this 6A foe in the Red Devils. And then Jeffersonville, of course, they faced the Highlanders last week, which was at Floyd Central, and they did end up walking away with a 28-14 loss after they had the lead going into halftime. They had 14. They didn't score in that second half, and then Floyd had 7, and then they just couldn't contain that Highlander offense entering that second half. I guess the Red Devil defense got tired, which is understandable. You had a long trip over to Floyd Central. I'm sure you had a long day. You basically had to stay in school until it was time to go over there. Had a long first half, and then it just kind of collapsed in that second. And you're looking to change those fortunes. You're back at home. I'm sure you had plenty of rest today, and you're going against, some might say, a weaker opponent here in Silver Creek.
Yeah, and I hate to be melodramatic, but this is a huge game for the Red Devils. It may not be the biggest of opponent, but as many of you know, this is a pretty good team, and it has been for many years. But throughout all of that, there has been downfalls in the past few seasons. Right now, 0-4, and they have 4 games remaining, including this one. So if they lose this game, they will have another losing season, and that will be Coach Parker's. He's only had losing seasons in this league so far, but I don't think that's a huge knock on Parker, who, as he brought his team to a regional championship in the IHSA tournament.
Yeah, that's sectional back in 2020, led there by Cole Phillips, and of course Coach Parker, like you mentioned. I think that team went 4-6 in the regular season. It was somewhere around there, 4-6, 5-6. But then somehow they managed to take that sectional championship, like you just mentioned, over the Highlanders. And I still remember that story. I was a sophomore that year.
Yeah.
I don't think I was able to call the playoffs, but I was able to call that Floyd Central and New Albany games. And I remember that team vividly, and I remember how excited they were when they took that sectional championship.
Yeah, I watched it at home with my dad. We kind of were just expecting to watch that first game against Floyd in the sectional first round and just see a good send-off for the Red Devils, as we didn't necessarily expect them to win that game. But out of nowhere, the Red Devils kept racking up the points, shut down the Floyd Central Highlanders, who had dominated them in the regular season, as that was a COVID year, and they played them 3 times in the regular season, actually. Or that would have been their 3rd time playing them, as they played them 2 times in the regular season. And after that, the Red Devils once again pull off another upset against the New Albany Bulldogs, who we will be facing at home next week at Blair Field. The Bulldogs, what is their record, Blake?
The Bulldogs are actually quite good this year. I would say that they're probably the best team in this Hoosier Hills Conference. They're actually only 1-4 at the moment. They're 1-2 in Hoosier Hills play, but they got a lot of superstar players like Jeffersonville does. We mentioned the Red Devils. They have players like Zion Mansfield, Don Starling as well. But this New Albany team, they have a lot of returning seniors. They got a lot of transfers as well. There was a male cornerback, defensive back last year. That male, of course, ranked number 1 in the state of Kentucky, and he was one of the top recruits on that team. And New Albany was able to snag him over, and now he's one of the biggest transfers that school's ever seen.
That's great for the Highlanders. Hopefully the Red Devils and Starling are able to get past him next week. It is a 7-7 ball game here with halftime ticking down. I'm Nathaniel Gardner, joined here by Blake Beams on color. We're looking to have a good halftime with tie ball game. We have seen great offense on both sides, but not necessarily putting putting the ball in the end zone. And one thing I'd like to touch on real quick is, as you talked about, the Red Devils are full of superstar talent, and that most definitely is not at all any reason as to why they are 0-4 on this season, as most of that superstar talent is the only reason they've been in these games so far in this season.
Yeah, the Red Devils they're a very big play, heavy favored offense, and they do like to go deep a lot to Don Starling. We mentioned Brandon Curl quite a bit on these broadcasts, and it seems odd because how little he demands receptions. But really what that is the gravity surrounding him is intense. Last year, just as a sophomore, he was, I want to say, first or second and on targets for the team. And he's bringing that into, of course, his junior season, so he's more polished that way. He knows exactly where to be. He knows the playbook a lot better. And he's still only a junior. He's still improving. So these defenses are always going to watch out for him, especially when they see him on film. Because when you see him on film, you see a very crisp and smooth route runner, and you're going to see him get down the field quite easily as well. He's going to create separation no matter what. It's just, are you going to go to him? Because most time he's going to be doubled.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to touch on with Brandon Curl, good receiver for the Red Devils. The first play of the season was a curl route to Brandon Curl. He's had some rough drops this game so far, but he can show when he's in the zone, he can get it into the end zone.
Yeah, and I just think those struggles have primarily been, like I said, he's getting doubled most of the time. And, when you're not necessarily expecting a full target, you're not always going to be prepared for that catch. Might be late on a turn, you might be early on a throw, you might be late on the throw, you might be early on a turn. You know what I mean? There's so many things that can go wrong at once. And Brandon Curl, he manages to encompass that, and he manages to push that past him, and he manages to, basically take that as fuel, manages to find better receptions, manages to find better yards after catch as well.
And the Red Devils, we don't see much passing from them, but I've heard from quite a few Red Devil receivers that they have a quite complicated route tree out there, so that could also be a reason why there's some miscommunication out on the field.
Yeah, I'm sure the playbook is not the easiest to memorize out there. Coach Parker, he does like to run up some interesting schemes, and they work too. Though we've mentioned all the big plays that the Red Devils are managed to come up with. Short runs as well. That's primarily DeMonte Brown. He plays in slot a lot. Brandon Curl, he's over there. Jake Cola, the tight end, he's big. He normally plays at the edge of that line, but he has a reception in this game as well. You got so many targets if you're this Red Devil team, and you got so many different. You mentioned how deep that route tree is. You got so many options, and you got so many plays within those options to go for.
And that's something you expect from a veteran head coach in Coach Parker. As when you're a freshman head coach, you may see a smaller playbook as you're just getting acclimated to your team, not necessarily knowing all of their strengths yet come game time. But as you're able to progress through your multiple seasons as a head coach of your team, you're able to develop your chemistry, know the strengths, know who does best on certain route trees, and people who are better at rushing it outside, people who are better at rushing it inside. There's many of those just rudimentary things that a coach will not learn until later in his career.
Yeah, it's like you said, it all comes with time, and I think Coach Parker's been the one to be able to do that. He managed to develop this Red Devil team throughout the past 2 years, and you got to realize how hard this is in high school. You know what I mean? Not many coaches are going to last long because it's a revolving door of players every single year. You know what I mean? Even when, say you have 20 seniors on the team, which the Red Devils have, 15 of those 20 seniors may have just been JV players.
Yeah.
15 of the 20 maybe have just been on the bench for the last 3 years. You know what I mean? It's so hard to kind of keep up with a playbook that way, but I feel Coach Parker has been able to do that quite well, and he's managed to stick to his strengths as well.
Yeah, high school is a tough place to be a head coach of football team. Well, a head coach of any of the teams at the high school level, as you said, the revolving door of talent. In college, you see more recruiting, and the bigger schools will be able to keep their talent. And in the NFL, you'll see people be able to get big free agents who come to the big market teams or the teams that are winning. But in high school, you'll see sometimes some recruiting, but usually teams can't really do that. So it's tough to keep the dominance of a team going for quite long, if not only for 1 to 2 seasons. We have a 7-7 ball game here, halftime in Blair Field. You're listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network. You can also tune in on our Facebook and YouTube channel, and also on WJHI.com. And Blake, what would be Silver Creek's keys to get back in the game?
If I'm Silver Creek, I'm probably looking more towards that defensive side of the ball, and that's kind of just keep doing what you're doing. I feel like when this Red Devil offense is really hitting their strides, they're going to be up big time on any opponent. They went up, was it 18-0 versus Bedford North Lawrence in just the second game of the year? They put up quite a few points on Seymour as well. So when this offense is going, it's certainly going, and the way Silver Creek has been able to hold them to just one score, they only got 7 points. You got to hold with that defense. You're managing to keep Zion Mansfield relatively short in that line, and I'm on record for saying that I want to see this Red Devil offense be a bit more conservative, be a bit more short on their runs, and you're going to waste more clock, and you're going to be able to get to the end zone in just more and more time. Granted, you're wasting quite a bit of energy, and that's where the Silver Creek play comes in.
Yeah, and the Red Devils, throughout this season, you could definitely say they've been a first-half team. They really haven't shown that they can put many... They may have got a touchdown or two in the second half of one of their games, but they've really just been a first-half team.
Yeah, it is difficult to continue play into that second half. After such a long break, you get exhausted, and it's very easy to kind of get lost in, kind of that relaxed mode that you're going to have throughout halftime. But that's why when you're a team like Jeffersonville that wants to compete for a sectional championship every year, you've got to be up and at it at all times. You can't come onto the field walking. You can't go off the field walking. You've got to be running. You've got to be jogging. You've got to be ready to go at all times. Because when you come back onto the field, it's game time again. And that other team, if they're going to be ready to play. If you're not ready to play, they're going to walk all over you.
Yeah, and one thing Coach Parker stressed is in practice, whenever I played on the team, I'm not necessarily sure if he continues this tradition, but I wouldn't be surprised if he still did. Whenever you are in practice and you had to go from place to place, if he saw you running, if he saw you walking from place to place, he would tell you, run from that place and back 3 times. Because if you keep that running mentality up in practice and bring it onto the field come game time, it just shows that you've got that power and you're willing to commit and put in that 110%.
Yeah, and it's always been true. Practice is going to reflect play. And when you're the Red Devils, you're coming in 0-4. These practices are difficult. These practices are hard. But you got to wonder, is the other team practicing just a bit harder? You got to wonder, is the other team, do they know more strategy? Are they doing more in the logistics of things? This is all things you got to consider if you're a Red Devil fan. You're 0-4. You need your first victory of the season. Like you mentioned, they're very close to finishing with another losing record this season. So you got to crank it up in this second half specifically. You mentioned earlier this isn't a huge game. This is Silver Creek and Jeffersonville, 2 Southern Indiana foes, but you're not even in the same conference. But when you're down like this as the Red Devils, you need a win and you need to keep going.
Yeah, and the thing is, they don't need it necessarily to change their playoff position. As in Indiana, you are already guaranteed a sectional battle, but it's just the mentality of all. If you manage to put together a good amount of wins in the regular season, it will help team morale going into the sections.
It's going to help team morale. It's also going to build confidence. That's the biggest thing when you're out on that field. Zion Mansfield, he oozes confidence no matter where he goes. He knows he's going to be able to run through any defensive line that you put in front of him. He's going to be able to drag any defensive line that you put in front of him. Don Starling, he's always by himself on that left side. He doesn't need anybody else over there because he's going to go over his man. He's going to bring it down. Confidence is the building block for all football. And if you're the Red Devils and you have confidence, you are going to finish this season well. First, though, you got to get through this Dragon squad.
Yeah, and the Red Devils come out for their halftime warm-ups looking to get into the second half and put some more points on the board. Honestly, I know you were talking about wanting to continue the methodical offense by the Red Devils, but I also want to see some of the big plays that we've seen. As a big play, 1 or 2 big plays could really stretch this game away from the Dragons.
I do like that kind of call there, because not only does it stretch it away, you don't even have to score for it to stretch it away. Now, you do want those scores because you're tied right now. You got to get that lead if you want to walk away with this victory.
But, even just on this first drive, if you want to come out, get a few big plays, maybe get a field goal, maybe get a fourth down conversion, you are going to be in a great position to carry a lot of momentum into that defensive drive. That defense is excited. That offense is weary that they've been off the field for so long, and that Jeffersonville is just inching on coming back, that they're going to be worried, and they're probably going to make a few mistakes, and that's going to lead the Red Devils to even bigger and better prosperity.
And a big key to the Red Devils game here should be their goal-to-go position. They have 7 points on the board here, but they have shown in almost every drive, I believe, they have gotten into Silver Creek territory, but only one of them being successful and leading to a 7-point touchdown there after a 42-yard run by Mansfield. And real quickly, I'd just like to mention that you're listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network. You can also tune in on cable channel TV 184 and our Facebook and YouTube social accounts, as well as WJHI.com. It is a 7-7 ball game as both teams are warming up out on the field, looking to go into this second half of play in Blair Field.
So the Red Devils are going to be receiving the second half kick here. Of course, going to be led by quarterback Nick Schindler, who had some on and off snaps the previous few weeks. He sat completely that week 3 and or it might have been just week 3 game. Got a few snaps last week versus Floyd Central, and Jake Cola kind of held primary throwing duties for the Red Devils. The freshman as well, Cole Singleton, got a few in. You love to see the freshmen getting some early reps, and this Red Devils is a very senior-heavy team. We mentioned earlier during the halftime show that the Red Devils have about 20 seniors. They have quite the returning senior class. You got a good transfer in Don Starling. He's from Western over in Kentucky. And this is the polar opposite of last year. You had about 4 seniors last year. You got about 20 now. And it's not the result you'd expect with, such a change and superiority. But it's what we've gotten so far. And I have a feeling, though, if you do carry that confidence that you are a senior, you're going to be the biggest guy on the field, you're going to walk away with victories. And I'm sure the Red Devils know that. And they're thinking that here against Silver Creek.
And one thing I'd want to touch on real quick with Cole Singleton, the one thing is the quarterback room for the Red Devils it's pretty thin right now. With Schindler will be a senior next year, only has about 1 year left on his career here, and Kokola will be graduating this year, so that almost certainly leaves Singleton as the quarterback too, and possibly the quarterback of the future for the Red Devils.
Yeah, and we saw Nick Schindler take in that starting quarterback role as a sophomore last season. Junior, like you just mentioned now. So it doesn't look like Singleton will be getting starting quarterback reps in his sophomore year like Schindler did. But he gets to learn under Schindler, and I personally like Schindler as a quarterback. I think it's a great short game. I think he knows his reads. He knows his playbook very well, and he knows when to drop the ball off. I really like Schindler as a quarterback, and I think Cole Singleton learning under him is going to learn a lot. And I have a feeling this Red Devil quarterback room is in good hands.
Man, Blake, I really thought you were about to say he knows when to drop the ball, and I was like, man, how would you do that to that man? As the Red Devils, Rajon Laird out in the back looks to receive the ball here, it looks like.
I want to say over there, is that Starling and Stevenson? Yeah, say the usual returning corps it looks like for the Red Devils.
Rajon Laird just out there a little bit early.
Yeah. Oh, other side of the field, too. There you go. Send him over.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why we were confused. You were looking at the right side of the field. I was looking at the wrong side, and I saw the guys on the wrong side of the field. Good call. Good catch, Nate. Good catch.
That's why we worked so well together, Blake.
It's a dichotomy.
Yes.
It works perfectly.
You catch my errors, I catch your errors, and we make fun of each other for it.
That's right.
We have a 7-7 ball game looking to kick off into our second half of play here at Blair Field. The Red Devils will be receiving the ball going into this half. Kicked off by Troutman. Troutman readies her kickoff putt. Troutman receives the ball and places it down. ready for the kick. After the deferment in the first half by the Red Devils, they will receive the ball here. Troutman ready to kick. And we are about to be away. Starling and Stevenson deep for Jeffersonville. They break the huddle of their kickoff. And she gets the ball away. Kind of a short gain there, but it is taken by Devontae Bailey, the senior, who gets about, he keeps on going. He's wrestled up and down around the 49-yard line there.
Yeah, awesome run by Bailey. Doesn't quite got that speed running down the field, but he's sure got the power. He drug quite a bit Silver Creek special team defenders there. Managed to get up all the way to the 49-yard line. You know, you're still in your own territory.
Schindler with the ball once again, and Mansfield in the backfield, hopefully looking to get a score on the board here, close to Silver Creek territory here. And it will be a handoff to Mansfield to start the half here, and it will get to around just the 50-yard line in midfield here.
Yeah, and here goes these methodical gains once again. You're running with the big man, Zion Mansfield. Like I said, I really like this methodically paced offense that the Red Devils are going with here. So we're going to see if Mansfield does keep running with it. Great block there by the Red Devil defensive line to make sure he didn't get more than he needed to. It was only about a 1-yard gain.
Schindler talking with his offensive line. Receives the snap, and it will be another handoff to the big man, number 4, Zion Mansfield, who gets a first down and more for the Red Devils.
Yeah, inside the 30 now. Awesome run there. Managed to find his way to that outside of that line. He didn't sneak through a hole or anything. He just managed to sneak right past the edge of that defensive line. There was nobody there to get him. They had to wait for that secondary to finally come up. And that speed of Zion Mansfield just showing how impressive it is.
Yeah, in Mansfield, you usually don't see much speed. You just see power, but he's gained speed over the past few years. But it will be a handoff to Brandon Harris in the backfield, number 14, who has seen quite a few reps. That ball took a while to be whistled down there, but it will be about a 3-yard gain taken down by Wyatt Hoffman, the running back and linebacker, the senior for the Silver Creek Dragons.
Yeah, Brandon Harris ain't the biggest guy, but he sure is hard to bring down, as you just saw there. That ball was just kind of sitting there for like 5 seconds just waiting. It was a nice gain from Harris. Maybe run with him again, but they do got Mansfield out there behind Schindler.
Mansfield, after sitting for a play, will look to receive the ball again, but no, it will be a deep ball thrown out of bounds. Schindler looked to maybe go for Brandon Curl on that play, but just Curl was covered, and Schindler made the smart play to throw it out.
Yeah, I did see Curl, like you mentioned, just kind of plotted there in the end zone like a sitting duck, and then eventually Don Starling did make it over to that side of the field, but by that time it was too late. Great move there by Schindler, throw it away, not risk any loss of yardage, but also got to be careful when you're going that deep on a throwaway. There's always the risk of a pick. This is a solid secondary from the Dragons. They're very fast as well.
And it will be a 3rd and 6 here for the Red Devils. Probably 4th down territory if they'd like to. Coach deliberates with the officiating staff as they look to snap the ball away. Wonder why the clock is held up here.
I'm guessing they're deciding where to spot this ball. I mean, they got him at the 25-yard line right now. You're well into Silver Creek territory. If you lose a yard here for the Red Devils, not the end of the world, but, getting just closer and closer to the end zone is the ideal position.
Schindler looks to receive, and he gives the ball off to Mansfield, who gets multiple yards, trucks a man, trucks another man, and rumbles and tumbles his way to the 5-yard line. This is Zion Mansfield.
Yeah, I was able to move the sticks. Great power in there. I thought he almost got clotheslined. I'm surprised I didn't see a flag out on the field. But yeah, he manages to get inside that red zone. And first and goal, I think Zion Mansfield's got a strong chance to punch this in. Great big run, and he's able to power through it.
And there will be a player down in the end zone here in our play. It will be a 7-7 ball game. You were listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network, as we are 9 minutes and 50 seconds into this game here. After this injury timeout, we're looking as the Red Devils are close to the end zone here, hopefully trying to get their score to maybe just a 3-point lead. But we really haven't seen a field goal attempt yet from these Red Devils.
Yeah, and that's good for the Red Devils. You know, you're being very aggressive on those fourth downs. A lot of turnovers, however. You would like to change that, and maybe if worse does come to worse, you might want to settle for those field goals. 3 points is still 3 points.
Yeah, and this around PAT range, you can trust Magruder for the most part with those kicks. Harris in the backfield after Mansfield is out. And it will be a pass on that play. Kind of a bad ball there. Thrown to Kokola's direction. You wonder if Schindler just didn't like the throw there and thought he couldn't get it to Kokola.
Yeah, it was quite short. I think it might have been a miscommunication on the route. I think Kokola maybe went a little bit too far there. Tried to go for that touchdown in the end zone, but it's, it was kind of intended to be a bit shorter and maybe get inside the 3. That was only a second or first down. And you would have had more opportunities to take it in, but Kokola decided to go for the big one. Schindler was not thinking that way, just short on that pass.
Mansfield back out on the field to receive another rush, probably for the Red Devils. Schindler receives his call from Parker on the sideline. Schindler looks to be wanting a timeout here, but he will get the play call. He goes back out onto the field here. Kind of an interesting sequence for the Red Devils.
Yeah, deliberation between this officiating staff and Coach Parker. Yeah.
Do you see the Red Devils out there? They're dancing their time. They're dancing their lives out.
Yeah, it's having a good time there on that field. When there's a break in the action like this, you got to stay warm. Like I said, it's cold. It's cold up here. Sure, it's even colder down there. You got those pads on, but that ain't going to keep you warm forever.
And I like to see those linemen out there dancing, getting that energy out there, just having a fun time. I know you do want to win, you don't want to lose, but if you can at least have a good time out there, that's the big reason to play football. As it will be a handoff to Mansfield here quickly, and Mansfield will trudge into the end zone as you hear the cannons go off in Blair Field. The crowd erupts as the Red Devils take the lead once again here. 9 minutes and 15 seconds remaining, 13-7, pending the extra point.
Yeah, awesome word to use there, trudge. Zion Mansfield, he carried those defenders with him into the end zone like we've seen him do so many times. When you got such a short way to go, you have got to, you've got to make plays like that. I love when you run it right up the middle with a player like Mansfield. That's exactly what Coach Parker decided to opt for there, and yes, trudge is perfect. Mansfield trudged his way in.
And the extra point will be good by Magruder there, as it will make it a 14-7 ball game. 9 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The Red Devils once again showing what you like to see, the methodical offense, which has played pretty well. And we have our instant replay here on that touchdown. Mansfield gets it in, trudges it into the end zone.
Yeah, and you just mentioned on that replay there, Nate, you kind of saw the blocking kind of to disintegrate on Silver Creek side, on their left side of that defensive side. And so the Red Devils opted to take advantage of that, more specifically Mansfield. Great read by him to find it kind of dissolving on that right side of the offensive line. He found his hole, and as you mentioned, he was right about the 3-yard line. That's when the contact started coming in. He was getting brought down, but brought down just in time to get into the end zone. Excellent run there by Zion Mansfield, and excellent instant replay as well by that WJHI crew.
Yeah, and Mr. Dench once again showing that the WJHI members were able to reach new heights every game. And instant replay, I believe this is our first instant replay in a high school football game for us. Looking to continue that in the coming games. And number 16, Daniel Castro, with kicking duties for tonight, kickoff duties for tonight, looks to kick the ball off to the Silver Creek Dragons. Wyatt Hoffman back to receive, but it will be given to number 5, Kalani Fugit on that play. Won't be able to get much, but just gets knocked down after a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, excellent coverage there by that Red Devil special teams. Luke Elliott was the one able to bring him down there. And, yeah, he wrapped around him. A lot of times what you're going to see is when those arms go around, that player is going to go around as well, and they're kind of just going to flail off him. That time, Luke Elliott made sure to kind of wrap his arms, curl him around that return, and he managed to bring him down, got him around the waist, brought him down for a great starting field position for the Red Devils, not so much for the Dragons.
Caden Oliver looks to once again get another passing touchdown to hopefully tie up the ball game for the Silver Creek Dragons. Oliver hands off the ball, though, to Fugit, who gets around 3 yards, and it will be a 2nd and 7 here in Blairfield, and that would be Luke Elliott on the tackle, who had the tackle on the kickoff return.
Yeah, and I'm expecting a more heavy load on the offensive line on the right side here. If I'm the Dragons, you like to run to that right side with Fugit a lot. You're not seeing a lot of Hoffman on this drive, so maybe pack it in just a little bit more, and maybe you're going to find a gap or go just a bit outside.
As it will be another handoff to Fugit, who will get around the first down yard line. It will be good enough for the first down on that call. Man, the Silver Creek Dragons, while it's only a first down, have shown that they're just going to run it down our throats on this drive so far.
Yeah, and I'm a man of honor. I can't lie. I did misinterpret that call. I mentioned how I thought they were going to go to that right side and kind of pack it in. No, that was right up the middle. He intended to go for that right side. Instead, a little bit of a trick, went right up the middle, found a nice hole, took it up the Red Devil's throat like you mentioned.
Blitzing defender here, as it will be a quick stop there by Red Devils. I believe that was Leland Ponce there. He had a little bit of a blitz there, then moved back. That was actually Jake Curry with the tackle. He blitzed early in that play and then got back and eventually ended up with the tackle.
Yeah, and that was more of an all-out blitz there from the Red Devils. It kind of sent that whole team hauling straight towards the quarterback, Oliver, and it did pan out well. They managed to stop that run quite early.
Oliver with Fugit in the backfield. There will be a motion in the back. Oliver runs forward after looking to pass, gets about 5 yards there, but it will be short of a first down, and it will be a 3rd and 2nd here.
Awesome slide there from Caden Oliver there. You don't see a lot of great sliding, especially at that level here in the high school department. And, yeah, Caden Oliver, he just pictured that perfectly. And, yeah, great slide. Managed to bring up a 3rd and short.
Oliver with Fugit to his back. Once again, 2 receivers to his left. Another motion in the backfield. We've seen a lot of that so far. Fugit takes the carry, gets quite a lot of yards, and it will be a first down here. Wow.
Yeah, and he did manage to get quite deep into Red Devil territory. And I want to say that was actually the sophomore Jamari Powell on that rush, so that might have been a huge thing. They weren't expecting someone like Powell to receive the end of that ball, but that was him. They took it all the way to the 40, now into Red Devil territory. He found that left side of the field was pretty open. I'm sure the Red Devils are going to be the ones correcting that there. Maybe go a bit balanced, maybe run a zone. I would like to see a pass here from the Dragons, so a zone from the Red Devils would be ideal.
Yeah, and thank you for catching that, Blake, as the Silver Creek Dragons have a man in the backfield with a motion pitch to him, and that is number 7, Bryce Henderson, with the small gain on that play.
Yeah, I like to go to Henderson on those routes like that, going behind your quarterback, because he is very shifty and he is able to shake defenders off him. But when you got a senior like Jake Curry back there in the linebacker slot, he's going to read that the whole time. He had the Bryce Henderson assignment. His eyes was watching him, and then he managed to bring him down once he knew what that play was coming, which was going to be just a short run right over to the right side of that offensive line. Found him, brought him down.
Yeah, and the Silver Creek Dragons have pushed far into Red Devil territory, looking to get some points on the board. Once again, motion in the backfield, a handoff there to number 28.
Is that 28 for the Dragons there? They've got a lot of different running backs. So that might have been off the Powell again.
Yeah, that was Jamari Powell once again with the rush there, and it will be good enough for a first down for the Silver Creek Dragons.
Yeah, back-to-back first downs for Powell there. I'm really liking what the Dragons are cooking up here in the rushing game. If you're the Red Devils, don't go for a blitz, because then you're just going to leave that wide open. Stay more in a man coverage, I would say, and then you're going to able to bring down the Silver Creek running pretty easily.
Once again, another motion, but a failed tackle, and it will be passed deep. Tight coverage there. Oh, it will be a flag. That's a flag?
Yeah, it's going to go against Luke Elliott on the Red Devils. It's going to be in favor of the Dragons. Way. I just don't... Holding. They're going to roll.
Defensive holding? He didn't have hands on him.
I saw hands, but I want to say those were legal hands as well. He had to look back, which is what you're always going to go for. When you look back on that, that basically signifies that this pass interference play is going to be off, but they didn't see it as that, and that's going to be a 15-yard penalty. That sent Silver Creek up quite a bit. Now they're in the red zone.
Yeah, in the Red Devil red zone here, looking to punch it in after that unlucky play there for the Red Devils. And that was Kion Stevenson with the pass interference. Another handoff to Powell, who gets around 5-yard gain there. Powell, the sophomore running back / linebacker, 5'9", 175. Real quickly, I'd like to mention you are listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network here. You can also listen to us on cable channel 184, our Facebook and YouTube channel, and WJHI.com. Caden Oliver with Powell to his side. There's another motion in the backfield. We've seen a lot of that so far. It will only get him about 1 yard so far in this game.
Yeah, excellent read there by that Red Devil defensive line to get him down so early. He managed to sneak around the offensive line way too quick. They were definitely looking to just take every man one-on-one, and so they weren't expecting a linebacker. He came up from that Red Devil side, managed to sneak right over. He brought him down.
We have a 3rd and 5, 3 minutes and 35 seconds and counting. 14-7 Red Devil lead. Caden Oliver, Powell to his left, 3 receivers to his right. A motion by the tight end. Powell once again quickly stuffed, and it will be a 4th and 4 for the Silver Creek Dragons.
Yeah, I don't like that set there from Silver Creek. They had the left side completely empty of receivers, and they actually had trips to the right. And I don't know why you're going for that when you're going to run, obviously. You know, it was, 2nd and 5, or is it? Yeah, it was 3rd and 5, so now you're up to 4th and 4. I don't know why you just didn't send every man to kind of block and hope for the best. Instead, trips to the right, nobody to the left. We all knew you're going to run it up. I don't know why you were opting for that.
Yeah, and on the hash they're on, that's just a tough play there. Going for the 4th down here in Red Devil territory. Oh, and that will be an sides call on the Red Devil defense. Good enough for a first down here. Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, I guess the Red Devils, they either fell for a hard count or they just were too jumpy there after getting such a good stop. And, yeah, that's not very good. That was going to be a 4th down, and that could have been a turnover on downs pretty easily if you were Jeffersonville. Now you're up to, 1st and 4th. You're, 1st and goal. You got 4 yards to go here.
Refs resume the play clock here as the Silver Creek Dragons and Caden Oliver looks to lead this team into their 2nd touchdown of the game here. Oliver rushes to his right. No receivers out there. Tries to go for the touchdown, but he is just short at around the 1st yard, at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, he did. He was able to knock over that pylon, but you just mentioned he was just short, literally inches short from that end zone. And I have a feeling if Oliver would have extended those arms that he would have been able to get in, but, that frame isn't quite entirely developed yet. So it might have been a fumble as well, but it might have fumbled back into the end zone. Could have gotten a safety, could have gotten anything there. That was a lot of variety on both sides. I want to say it was the best play that you could have gotten for Oliver. Second and goal now, you're about, inches away from the end zone?
Most definitely, Blake. Oliver with his man Jamari Powell in the backfield, probably a handoff to Powell, and it will be good enough for the touchdown here. And the Silver Creek Dragons close this lead to a 1-point lead pending the extra point, which may tie it up. Troutman comes out to kick the ball.
And man, what a drive there by Jamari Powell. He was able to rush it all the way downfield. He was also the last one to get it into the end zone. I like the idea that you're going to run it on the right side. Those right hash marks have been pretty weak for the Red Devils so far.
And they're in another position where they have their quarterback holding the kicks here, as the Red Devils have that as well. Troutman takes the kick, and it is good for the score to be 14 all. Red Devils and the Silver Creek Dragons tied here in the third quarter of play. 2 minutes and 3 seconds remaining on the clock. The Red Devils look to continue their offensive dominance, but hopefully going on defense later in the game, they can make the stops that are needed to shut down this Silver Creek offense, which, we haven't seen many big plays from them, but they've just been able to punch down our throats.
Yeah, and you still got 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and the Red Devils have been able to put up 2 touchdowns so far. Both have been Mansfield runs, and Mansfield has had a great game. He had that fumble earlier as well, which would have cost him quite a bit, but he was able to, that next drive come out, was able to put up some points on the board. But you can't be having that again. You only have 1 quarter to go. You're all tied up here. You're facing a pretty formidable Silver Creek foe. If you're the Red Devils, I'm liking that methodical offense once more. If you want to go a bit deeper, I guess we can see. But Jeffersonville, I think they have a strong chance to come out here, punch it down the throat of the Dragons to get a solid offensive drive.
Yeah, if they just continue their rushing dominance, of course, we'd be okay with a big rushing touchdown once again, but if Zion Mansfield is just able to get those first downs with the help of Brandon Harris and his quarterback, number 10, Nick Schindler out there. Carly Troutman out to kick the ball off once again. Field goal unit. Widens up. Don Starling and Stevenson look to be the deep receivers here. But it will not go to either of them, as it is once again another catch there by number 8, the tight end, Devontae Bailey, who's a big guy out there for the Red Devils.
Yeah, he's a hulky guy that would have run dudes over, and I like what I'm seeing from him. He's being a bit more shifty and conservative there. He's not liking to run over guys. Instead, he's going to opt for a bit of a longer option, and I don't think it cost him any yards there. I think it was a great return there by Bailey. He's had a few so far this game.
Yeah, and at the 45-yard line, the Red Devils are once again looking to get into Silver Creek territory, which on every drive so far in this game they have managed to, but just only have managed to get 14 points on the board. Schindler with the handoff quickly to Harris. Gets about 2 yards there.
I don't know. He might have been stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. That was not an excellent run there by Harris. Maybe, yeah, he gave him a yard. It's almost in Silver Creek territory now.
Brandon Harris, if you are going to keep him out there, which it doesn't look like they are, it looks like Mansfield will be coming back out. Maybe try to go up the middle. Maybe you want to see a Schindler pass. I like seeing passes over the middle because I don't think that the secondary of the Dragons is necessarily going to be prepared for that.
Yeah, let's see a big pass to Starling here. The Schindler takes the ball, but it will be another handoff to Mansfield. They're not prepared for that either, and he'll get near a first down there. And it will be a third and quite short for the Red Devils, punching their way back into Silver Creek territory.
Yeah, great play call and great way to run behind that left side of that offensive line. They're big fellas over there. They know they can attract attention. They can attract gravity. They're going to attract them away from Zion Mansfield. And Mansfield, he's a big guy, but he's also coming in around 5'10". You're not going to see him over that offensive line, and so when you're not paying attention to that, he's going to be able to find those spaces to get through. You're not going to be able to see him. He's already through by the time you mention him.
In the huddle, they break out. And it will be another QB run there, but there'll be a flag on the play. If the play stands, it will be a first down, but we will see what happens.
I think this is going to be against the Red Devils because Zion Mansfield wasn't ready for that snap, and this flag was not against him. But I think just inferring from that, this will go against the Red Devils. Probably just an early offsides.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating here on the coaching side. But the Red Devils have a chance at 3rd and 6 to get back into Silver Creek territory here. After that false start, the ball will be moved back 5 yards back into Jeffersonville's territory. The score is 14-14. 28 seconds remaining in this third quarter of action here at Blair Field in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Schindler and Mansfield in the backfield deliberating, probably seeing a pass here though. Schindler takes the ball and it goes to Starling, but that is close to a pick there by Wyatt Hoffman. Man, you got to be glad that wasn't a pick there because that was definitely pick 6 region there.
Yeah, Hoffman, great way to stay glued to Starling that whole time. If I'm Nick Schindler, I like to go a bit higher because Don Starling can always bring those down. But in his defense, that would have been an extremely short gain and just would have been a bit risky for this offense. This is going to bring out the punting unit. Was 3rd down. They were just at their line of scrimmage when that was thrown. Maybe he was the best to kind of go down in the dirt, but like you said, Walker Hoffman had his fingertips on there. Lucky he didn't secure it because he would have been gone.
Yeah, and now Ethan Phillips, the O-line, D-line, and punter, looks to punt the ball away. A nice booming punt there. Big-legged man gets it to the... It keeps on going. It keeps on going. It's down at the 1-yard line. That is just masterful punting and coverage down there by the coverage team. Wow. You don't really see masterful punting, and I'm sorry, like, I'm just going to geek out about this. I'm a big punting guy. I know punting doesn't really put points on the board, but, oh, man.
I mean, yeah, it was a perfect point. What else can you say? It had an excellent roll. It gave this Red Devil special team just enough time to get down the field and secure it. I personally thought it was going to roll just short of the end zone. It was obviously going to go well into the end zone. So a great read there by the special teams. I want to say that was people like DeMonte Brown and Kion Stevenson that located that ball and were able to stop it, just inside the 1. And this is unbelievable starting position for the Red Devils and an unbelievable starting position for the Dragons in a completely separate way.
Yeah, safety position for sure. And defensive touchdown position. But after that, it will move us into the fourth quarter of play here. 14-all ball game. The Red Devils have secured the lead 2 times in this game, starting it out with a 42-yard rushing touchdown by Mansfield, followed by a tying touchdown to Gray after a 15-yard reception. And then, once again, we saw a 7-yard touchdown to Mansfield. And after that, who was it to the most recent touchdown?
You mean for Silver Creek? That one was going to be...
Jamari Powell?
Yeah, no, it was a rush from Powell, yeah. So he was at, what was it, inch? He was like at the 1-yard line. He just
that was a
snuck in.
gimme touchdown, but he got it in there. And at the 1 yard line here in their own territory, in their end zone, trying to get out of it. Let's see what the play call here is. No motion. It will be a pass here, which is quite interesting. Gets them a little bit of yards here. Gives them a little bit breathing room here on that play.
Yeah, bold move there and a great catch. I want to say that was towards Darius Gray. And yeah, he was able to go down there. I don't think he was going to be risking a massive hit, but it was also a nice way to get that man down there. I want to say for the Red Devils, that was Leland Ponce. Put his hands down on him, make sure that drive is certainly dead. Brings up second down. You just need 2 more of those, and you're in pretty solid set position if you're the Red Devils.
Yeah, and Caden Oliver has had himself quite a game so far. No turnovers, and has had 2 touchdowns that have been on his fruition. Another handoff to Jamari Powell, who we've seen take a lot of these running back reps going into this game so far.
Yeah, we started out a lot, even with like Bryce Henderson. He's a receiver. He was rushing in the backfield quite a bit. But you just mentioned Powell. He's taking this ball a lot. He's gotten into the end zone once. I'm really impressed what I'm seeing from the sophomore.
Yeah, and the thing that's interesting is we haven't seen much of Hoffman anymore, which is quite interesting because I've seen him on defense. He's still playing in this game, but they're just trusting Jamari Powell out there, which has had himself quite a good game. It is 3rd and short. The Red Devils look to get good on their field position here. It will be a snap and a handoff to Powell, who manages to get about 2 yards there. Most likely good enough for a first down, and it is here. The Red Devils are not able to get anything from that masterful punt earlier in this game. Earlier in this quarter.
And one thing I really don't like what I just saw from the Red Devils, that second line of defense kind of just watched. I would like for, kind of jump on it, try to get a stop there against Powell. Powell's a very big running back, as we've just seen. He's able to run all over this Red Devil defensive line. That secondary needs to be there to get a stop if they miss.
Caden Oliver with his man in the backfield. It will be another pass attempt. A deep ball, but it just will not be good enough. Covered there by number 30 for the Red Devils, Cade Williams, the DB out there. That would have been a good completion, but just tight coverage there. Good closing speed by the DB there.
Yeah, it would have been a great completion, but that was phenomenal coverage. Cade Williams, goodness gracious. That was unbelievable. That's a junior. He managed to stay on Henderson, one of the best receivers in the state, for the entire time, and he got his hand in. That's the best part, what I just saw. He got his hand in. That pass was perfectly placed by Oliver right into the hands, but he got his hand in just barely and tipped it out just enough to where Henderson couldn't reach out and grab it.
Yeah, no pass interference as well. And it will be a pitch in the backfield to number 7, Bryce Henderson. Once again, as you talked about him, a big play receiver, gets the ball there. There will be a timeout on the field as there is a Red Devil down on the field. It is a 14-all ball game here. The Red Devils looking to stop the Silver Creek offense while they are in the Red Devil territory. You are listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network. I'm Nate Gardner, joined here by Blake Beams, who is my color commentator tonight. He's a member of the Take the Heat podcast. Talk about how the podcast has been going over these past few weeks.
I mean, we just got it started back up again as we took a bit of a hiatus over summer break. And, it's been extremely fun. Of course, I'm having it with Jake Curry, and we just added Connor Seifrey into the mix, who's been more of a host role and is a bit of a moderator as Jake and I kind of go at each other's throats over different sports debates and sports topics. And, we really do enjoy it. We're trying to make some big strides with it that we really can't announce yet. But, right now we're on the WJHI YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. We just put out an episode the other day. Over a lot of NFL news. It's just sports in general, really. When basketball season starts back up, we'll be going over a lot of basketball. And if you're lucky, you'll catch a few Jeff High talks as well.
And, Jake, if you're listening on the playback, Tua Tagovailoa, he did not have a one-and-done game. He is going to win the MVP this season for the Miami Dolphins. Looks to get the ball out here. Caden Oliver goes to the left. Oh, Rejon there just about got him, but it will be a completed pass to, who was that, Blake?
The receiver, I want to say that was Henderson again. He was just
Henderson.
able to get too open, yeah. And it was Luke Elliott who was able to force him out of bounds. And that Red Devil secondary, they kind of got lost there. You mentioned how Rajon Laird put all that pressure on Oliver. I want to say that defense collapsed in on him, and so that secondary wasn't really thinking that, hey, this ball can be coming deep, and that's exactly where it went. And they're lucky Luke Elliott was able to get to that side because he had enough balance that he could have taken it well into Red Devil territory.
Oliver with Powell to his right. And it will be a handoff to Powell, who will get about 5 yards on that play, and it will be a 2nd down and 5 here for the Silver Creek Dragons.
Yeah, awesome edge block there as well by the Silver Creek Dragons. They kind of got way ahead of his man to make sure that that running back could get just a few extra yards, and he wasn't able to reach that kind of distant point, but he would have been down a lot sooner if it weren't for that edge block. So excellent blocking there for the Dragons. That's kind of what's impressed me the most so far.
Red Devils take a timeout here as there was a bit of miscommunication out on the field as to who was coming out. I saw our senior Jake Curry coming out there and a Red Devil defender just trying to run off, try to make sure there's not an extra man on the field. Coach Parker just gets the timeout there so no one gets caught astray. It is 9 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in this game here at Blair Field. 14 all. Looking to be a great football game and hopefully one of our best endings this season yet. I mean, we've seen these close games that have came down to the last 2 minutes, but the Red Devils haven't been able to push through. Let's see if the Red Devils are able to get that momentum into their season once again. Like they started hot in their first game. Let's see if they're able to get hot once again in this game. Stop this offense and get some more points on the board.
Yeah, and I really do like this Red Devil offense so far this game, and I would expect them to kind of continue that methodical pace they've been running with. I feel like I've said methodical more times than I've said phenomenal over the last season. And but what it's done, ironically, has been a phenomenal way of getting points up on the board. You know, you got 2 touchdowns, but you're giving up just as much to Silver Creek. You got to break away, but first you need to stop on this Dragons offense.
Most definitely, Blake. I definitely agree with that. As the aforementioned Silver Creek offense takes the field after that timeout. And it will be a handoff to Powell, who gets more than a first down. It will be a 15 and more yard gain there. Good enough for the first down. Gets them close to Red Devil territory.
Yeah, that was quite the generous hole there the Red Devils just let out there. He got it just about into Red Devil territory. He's either at the 49 or the 50. And, yeah, it was an excellent run by Powell, an excellent read as well. He's just like Mansfield, except not as big. He doesn't necessarily see over that line, but that means the defenders can't just see him right back, and it gave him that opportunity to find that hole. Excellent rush there.
Motion in the backfield. Yet again, another handoff to Powell. A Red Devil defender, Ethan Phillips, quickly in the backfield, but not able to wrap around. And it will be a 2-yard gain here, as it will be a 2nd and around 6 here after a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, I'm really liking Powell here. We brought him up quite a bit, but what I'm really liking the most is that he's got big shoulders. He's a really big guy. He reminds me of A.J. Dillon in a way when I watched him over at Boston College. He knows exactly where to be. He's not as much as a receiving back as Dillon, but he knows where he's going, and he knows how to use that strength to his advantage.
Yeah, and he's a big guy. I mean, he may not show it on the weight and height, but he can bruise through some people. As he receives the ball once again for about 1 to 2 yards. Not much of a gain there, but good enough to keep running the clock for the Silver Creek Dragons, who look to get a win over the Red Devils here to continue their winning record.
And great read there by the junior Leland Ponce. He was able to find that man, wrap around him quite well. We mentioned it earlier how a lot of defenders will try to wrap around, just going to slip off there. Leland Ponce doesn't do that, to put it simple. Leland Ponce is going to find his man, and he's going to, instead of wrapping around him, he likes to kind of instead attract to him. And so you're not going to get past him either way, and once he kind of makes contact with you, you're done for.
Most definitely done for. There will be motion in the backfield, but there will be a flag. It might have been on that motion there, which is it will be a false start on that play. That's something that you risk with having that continuous motion. They've been doing that all throughout the game, having their tight end motion across the field and get that block on the other side.
Yeah, and all it takes is a few inches really to even set off that flag.
And it does set off for them, and it will be a 3rd and 11 here, back in their own field position, looking to get back into the Red Devils' field of position. Motion in the backfield once again by the tight end, and it will be a pass attempt here, which will fall no good here, intended for number 7, Bryce Henderson of the Silver Creek Dragons.
Yeah, rough drop there. Excellent pass there by Caden Oliver, and great coverage there by that Red Devil secondary as well. Bryce Henderson couldn't necessarily keep his hands around that ball, and it wasn't the best option. He's going to run out of bounds either way, but you would have gotten a solid gain. An excellent ball position, nice way to place it there.
And I believe this is Silver Creek's first punt of the game here that we've seen so far. Actually, never mind. It is not, but Kilo Lee looks to punt the ball away here. And Kilo Lee almost not able to get the ball away, but he is. The Silver Creek defenders, after a pretty good bounce, gets it at the 19-yard line. The Red Devils have 81 yards to get to the end zone here.
Yeah, very generous bounce as well. Gets them to about the 18-yard line. Well into Red Devil territory. We saw that kind of botched punt earlier that kept the Red Devils in there in the Silver Creek side of the field. And so good chance there to be able to get this Red Devils explosive offense way down in position to where you don't got a great chance to score, but we mentioned how explosive this Red Devil offense can be. I'm expecting to see more of it.
Yeah, definitely, Blake. And one thing with Kilo Lee, their punter, that has been doing pretty well so far, kind of just build it through the game. Mansfield gets the ball here and gets around 7 yards, just showing that power. Rumbles and tumbles to a 2nd and short here for the Red Devils. The clock ticks down around 7 minutes, and it will be a 14-14 game.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is with Mansfield and his rushing, but it looks like every time he's rushing so hard, he's like barreling downhill, and I mean literally downhill, because he's like tripping the whole way, and he still somehow keeps his balance and makes it. I don't know if that's some way to improve his strength and kind of run over different guys, but it seems to work nearly every time, and he only gets tripped up when maybe when there's some cluttering around him, but even then he's able to fight through quite easily.
Yeah, and they will have it'll actually be ruled a first down here as the chains are moved out. Good old chain gang action out there. The officials saw that could have been a first down. They brought the chains, and it confirmed their suspicions here as the Red Devils, after that 10-yard rush by Zion Mansfield, gets the first down. Schindler with once again another handoff to Mansfield, who gets about 3, keeps on rushing. He fumbles the ball. Does a Red Devil fall on it? Looks like a Red Devil will fall on that. Thank you, Ethan Simmons, the O-lineman, for falling on that ball. Lets the Red Devils continue possession here.
Yeah, that is first down, but that was very dangerous as well. Mansfield, he got tripped. That's all it was. He got tripped right there, and he ended up kind of going higher up in the air. He lost his balance, and that ball just fell out. Thank goodness Ethan Simmons was there to recover that football for the Red Devils.
Yeah, that would have been a big momentum changer there. But luckily enough, they keep the ball, and Mansfield will get the ball once again, who powers it in, forgives his woes there, and gets a first down and more. A 15-yard gain there by Mansfield, who most definitely is above or even higher above 100 yards in this game.
And I love that rush there. It was a great way to run behind your blockers, but you have got to be careful. Once he got past that offensive line, he started carrying the ball with one arm. That's how you're going to fumble the football once again. And he wasn't holding out his other arm to stiff arm either. What he was doing, he was holding it, curling it in, and instead of protecting that ball, he was opting to go for speed, and you're already in their side of the field. Don't go for that speed. Hold on to that ball. You already got the first down.
He does come off the field, opting for Harris in the backfield is Schindler, and Harris does receive the ball here. After a 3-yard gain here, we will see a 2nd and 7 here. 5 minutes and 50 seconds and counting here in the fourth quarter of play. The Red Devils in Silver Creek territory looking to run the score up and get a touchdown to receive once again another lead.
Yeah, Brandon Harris just ran straight into that offensive line, and I got to say I love it. It got it some nice yardage.
And Mansfield will get the ball once again as he is back out there. Pushed around a bit, but only about to get 1 to 2 yards on that play.
Yeah, he was down by contact as well. They couldn't even bring him down. He opted to kind of curl around Schindler and ran right up that middle. Kind of got met immediately with some force and wasn't able to get anywhere, as you just mentioned. It is going to bring up 3rd down. Mansfield, I do like another run, but I would also be expecting probably a pass over the middle here.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. You want the score, but if you could keep running the clock down, that also would be good. But Mansfield, in this position, you could get about 5 yards and make it 4th and more manageable.
Well, don't forget also, this is a tie game. The Red Devils do need a score on this offensive drive. You only got 4:45 to go.
Schindler with Mansfield, and it will be a pass by Schindler. Looks to go to Coca-Cola, and it is caught on the sideline. A good old sideline catch, toe tapping catch there by Coca-Cola. Quarterback reception there.
Red Devils did everything right there. Nick Schindler took his time. That has been the number one flaw in his game throughout the season. He took his time and he knew when to throw it. Jake Coca-Cola created separation. He's huge out there. He towers over his defender, maybe about 5 inches. Threw it over the defender's head, nearly over Coca-Cola's head. As you mentioned, he toe tapped. Ball fell right into his hands. He stayed just in bounds. That's going to move the sticks. Awesome 4th down conversion there from the Red Devils.
First down at the 31-yard line. It will be a handoff to Mansfield, who gets the edge, pushes forward, and gets around the first down here. That's just great.
Yeah, great way to find those holes. He found that right side, then he ended up going right back up the middle once he saw those linebackers started collapsing over there. He knew a few were turned around once they were on the side of the left, and once they went to that right, he found that middle, wide open, took it, nothing collapsed in. They finally got him down just short of that first down. Great read there by Mansfield.
Receiving the calls from the sideline. Jeff tries to run a more tempo offense here. But there will be a timeout as the Silver Creek Dragons want to try and stop this stifling offense here by the Red Devils. Would like to quickly remind you that this is a 14-14 game, 3 minutes and 52 seconds remaining, and you are listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network. You can also watch and listen on TV channel 184, our YouTube and Facebook social accounts, and our WJHI.com account. I'm Nathaniel Gardner, joined by Blake Beams, my color commentator for this night's action here at Blair Field. The Red Devils have had a pretty good game so far. Mansfield with 2 touchdowns, a 42-yard rushing touchdown and a 7-yard rushing touchdown. But the Silver Creek Dragons have responded by themselves with a 15-yard reception and a 1-yard touchdown by Jamari Powell.
Yeah, that 15-yard touchdown reception, that was Gray on that one. The extra point was good. It was just an excellent read overall by Gray. He managed to secure that ball, and it was all run after catch from there.
It is 2nd and 4 here. Schindler takes the pass, and it is yet another handoff to Mansfield, who is off and the races, and it is a touchdown to get the lead here. 3 minutes and 46 seconds remaining on the clock here. Mansfield with his 3rd touchdown of the game here.
Yep, and there's that burst of energy we've been talking about all night from Zion Mansfield. Great blocking there by the offensive line, but I want to point something out to you, Nate. On that left side of the offensive line, there was one big hole, and that was going to lead to an excellent blitz from the Dragons, but they did not recognize it. There was no all-out blitz. Instead, what they ran was man coverage. That man coverage, you're going to watch on the YouTube broadcast later. Once you go back and see it, it led complete open holes for Zion Mansfield. He found it right towards the left. He curved right back up the middle. That speed is unstoppable at his size. Took it right through the end zone.
Brewer looks to go for the kick here. They get the ball out there for Cola, who is the long snapper on kicking and punting situations. You don't usually see someone like him on as a long snapper, but in the high school league, you really can't touch a long snapper, so you can put a smaller guy out there if they snap well. And it is a good snap, good hold by Schindler, and it is a good kick. 21-14 ball game. The Red Devils have their third lead of the game with 3 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in this game, looking to get their first win of the game. As we see our instant replay here, Zion Mansfield is just able to find that hole in the end zone. Starling is getting the number 12 Chase Calhoun up near the end zone, just shut down, didn't let him get anywhere near him.
And we mentioned that man coverage that Silver Creek offense, our defense, just ran. You saw them in that second line of defense. They were opting to go for that offensive line, rather that front defensive line were opting to rush instead. So what you were going to see was those men trying to go for more so the running backs, more so the receivers. When they decided to take off on that, that's when Mansfield was able to sneak past him. It was quite the hold from Schindler. He's able to sneak right past him. You know, as we mentioned, he's about 5'10". He's a bit shorter out there. Managed to just sneak right past, and then with that big frame of his, took it all the way.
Castro with yet again another kick off attempt here for the Red Devils, looking to punt the ball away to number 4 Wyatt Hoffman and Bryce Henderson. Castro has had quite a good kickoff game so far, has not allowed many returns so far. Castro ready to kick. 3 minutes and 46 seconds remaining. Red Devils have the lead, 21-14. Crowd erupts here in Blair Field. Ready for the kick. And the kick by Castro is away, and it will be a muffed catch there, but it will be received and brought down by the Red Devils is Hoffman after about a 10-yard gain there.
Yeah, that was scary if you're Hoffman. You know, that ball is going to land in your hands. And instead, I guess he expected to go a little bit farther as he reached out his hands, and instead it just fell short on his knees. And it was lucky for him. It fell in motion, and he was able to just kind of scoop it up instead of having to jump on that ball. Tough break there for the Red Devils. But, you know, you're keeping the Dragons all the way back there.
At the 39-yard line in Silver Creek territory, they look to punch it over into Red Devil territory in the following plays. Caden Oliver with Powell to his side. Motion in the backfield, and Oliver will be on a QB option, but that is taken down there by Kyle Schultz. Just a great defensive play there. Read both the run and the option there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, Nate. It was a read. Kyle Schultz, he knew that RPO was going to come eventually, and so when he did see Caden Oliver, he was holding on to it a bit tighter than what he usually does on a handoff, and so Kyle Schultz, he was able to sneak back there. He did bring him down.
And Kyle Schultz has found his way back in the field, but this team, these Silver Creek Dragons, have been pretty tricky so far to start this game. Hasn't been able to get much of action on this field yet, but he gets that action on that play. Motion to the backfield, a little bubble. That is Hoffman on the catch there. Doesn't get much, and it will be about 1 yard gain, a 3rd and 11 here in their own territory. The Red Devils, with 2 minutes and 36 seconds and counting remaining on the clock, look to stop this Silver Creek Dragons team, as if they get the stop, that would most certainly probably end the game for the Red Devils and the Dragons. Caden Oliver receives the snap, moves to his right, looks downfield, and it is an incomplete pass, looking to go to Bryce Henderson deep but just was a little bit too far on that pass. And maybe even if it got there, it could have been a pick.
Yeah, and great coverage there by Cade Williams as well. He managed to read it quite the ways. He managed to follow him all the way downfield. I guess this Red Devil team certainly watched film this week. They know Bryce Henderson is the deep threat on this team. He also likes to go over the middle quite a bit. And what we've seen so far is he'll start over that middle, and then he'll cut right or cut left. We've seen a lot of right, and then like we just mentioned, Cade Williams was able to find him right there. Knew exactly where he was going. It's going to bring up 4th down. This Red Devil defense has a strong chance to stop the Dragons.
There is a timeout called by the Red Devils here. They're looking to have a debate here on what they want to do on this 4th down play.
Well, I got a solid guess. I would say probably get a forced turnover on downs here. You know, you're so far into your own territory, or you're so far into Silver Creek territory still. You're going to bring up 4th and long. You know, Nate, this is the time to go for it. I don't know if you're going to go for an all-out blitz because they might be risking a pass. You don't know if you're going to go for a zone because they might be risking a run. And like we've seen, Powell can make something out of nothing.
Man.
And
if there's a run on this play, that would be one of the most numbskull decisions I've ever seen by a team.
I mean, it could be, but we've seen Powell be sort of unstoppable this game.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a risky play. I mean, there is potential. Like, with a guy like Mansfield, we'd see the Red Devils maybe do something like that. But throughout all football, you usually never run at this position. Maybe you could have a little pitcheroo from your running back to another person, but something like a straight inside zone or outside zone is pretty risky. As the Silver Creek Dragons, with 2 minutes and 7 seconds remaining on the clock in the game, take the field. Once again, Caden Oliver with 2 men next to him. Now just 1 man, which is Jamari Powell. 4th and 11 here. The Red Devils looking to get the stop. It is received, and it will be a pass going to his right. Will he be brought down? No, he's going to pass it deep, and it will be too deep, and it will be a turnover on downs. The Red Devils will bring out their offense. 2 minutes remaining on the clock, and almost assuredly, I don't want to call it yet, but could have just ended the game for the Red Devils, who looking to get their first lead, a 21-14 game. And looking on that instant replay, he just kind of threw it too far there. Hoffman was covered pretty tightly there by the Red Devil defender, but just wasn't able to get the ball to him.
Yeah, that was Don Starling, by the way, and we don't see him on a lot of defensive snaps, so we saw him there. Here's the thing, though, Nate. I saw a lot of tight coverage, and it did work, but his back was never turned. If he ever made contact with that receiver, that was going to be an automatic pass interference. That would have been an automatic first down for the Dragons and would have switched the momentum completely.
There'll be a timeout by the Dragons here, which is quite interesting because the ball hadn't even been snapped yet. You're wondering, that's kind of an interesting coaching decision there because it doesn't stop the clock.
Yeah, it doesn't stop the clock, and now you're burning another timeout. And you just mentioned you're under 2 minutes here. You need to stop at least.
I think that timeout might have ended the game for them. I'm not necessarily sure about the timing and everything, but it's a tough situation here. The score is 21-14, Red Devil lead. You're listening to 98.5 WJHI LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devil Network. I'm Nate Gardner, joined here by Blake Beams on color commentary. We've had a pretty great game so far of football. Red Devils with the lead, looking to continue that lead into the rest of this game. Coach Parker deliberates with the offense as the offense looks to go out to run, hopefully, their final drive of the game. They will not be in a victory formation, probably just looking to run the ball, though. The Silver Creek team looking to get the stops they need. Mansfield just gets about 3 yards, nice and methodical there, and the clock will continue to run.
Great read there by the Dragons. I saw that strong safety back in the secondary come up just a little bit, kind of slotted in that linebacker position, and he was able to find Zion Mansfield coming right up there. He knew exactly what he was going to run. That's watching film once again. You're going to know exactly where a play is going to be when you run with him so much, and that strong safety managed to take his way up, found himself in that linebacker slot, and knew exactly where Mansfield was going to be.
And there will be a Dragon down on the field, which will make a timeout for them as the Silver Creek Dragons look to hopefully get a defensive stop here. Nick Schindler receiving the call from his offensive coordinator. And that is Kyle Keplinger. Schindler back out with his offense to deliberate the play. Talks to Starling, Mansfield, and his O-line.
Second down and 7.
Coca-Cola out there as well as DeMonte Brown and Brandon Curl. Schindler, Mansfield in his back. 2 to his right, 1 to his left. That is Starling. Probably not looking at a pass here, though.
Yeah, good play here by Schindler. He's burning clock completely down.
As the clock is running after that injury. Schindler with the kind of a botched snap there, but it is able to get to Mansfield. Could have been disastrous there, but the Red Devils are able to keep the ball going and keep the clock going, which is most important of all here.
Yeah, I fumbled the ball just a little bit. Obviously, it wasn't a rolled down fumble, but it did come loose for just a moment. And I think that just kind of shows how far Nick Schindler has come in his time here at Jeffersonville. I feel like just even last year, that could have been a complete fumble, and then that could have been a turnover and send the game in a completely opposite direction. But he was able to hold on to the ball. He's able to keep calm. That's the number one thing, especially when you're in such a high pressure situation. He's able to keep calm. He knew Zion Mansfield was about to be there in just a moment. Decided to pin it up against him. They held onto the ball. Mansfield recognized what he was doing immediately, went down with it, and it was a great move there by the Red Devils.
And it is now 3rd down and 9 after we see another quick defensive stop here by the Dragons, as you see on that instant replay there. The key for these Red Devils, I mean, you want to get the first down, obviously, but keep running the ball, because I believe that is the last timeout that the Silver Creek Dragons had. Let's see what these Red Devils can bring to this field here. Tons of people in attendance here at Blair Field. Schindler and Mansfield in the backfield. Starling to his left, 2 men to his right. That is DeMonte Brown and Brandon Curl. 3rd and 9. Schindler takes the snap. It will be a handoff to Mansfield, who gets a lot of yards. It might be good enough for the first down, and if that is a first down, that could ever so cement the game. Might just be just short here. You bet. I mean, you bet 9 times out of 10, even if he doesn't get that first down, they're in fourth territory here. They're going to get this first down here no matter what.
4th and short for the Red Devils.
4th and short here.
Yeah, and I'm quite interested to see what Jeffersonville wants to do. The clock is still running, but you do have a play clock to attend to. What I'm guessing is that they're just going to kind of let it run out and take the penalty, then take a knee, and you're going to let the clock run out. You're under 20 seconds. I think the Red Devils are going to walk away with a victory.
They will call a timeout there, as they had one more timeout. As the play clock reaches 0, they will have 16 seconds remaining on the clock. It is not a done deal yet, but it is pretty close to being called here. You're listening to 98.5 WJHI, LP Jeffersonville, your home of the Red Devils, as the Red Devils have a 21-14 lead over the Silver Creek Dragons. Looking to be their first win of the season here. And man, Blake, these Red Devils have shown something that we haven't seen most of the season, is some heart. They've shown some that grit that you need, and that's one big thing that's a staple of Coach Parker's team, is he wants his players to go out there and fight hard. And this has been a fight hard game. None of those big plays, but they have fought hard. They've got those big rushing touchdowns. They've got the yards when they need it. They've had some issues, but you expect that from any high school team.
Yeah, we talked in the halftime period what the struggle's been is finishing the games, and I think the Red Devils have done an excellent job. I think they're going to walk away from Blairfield with a victory as well. 4th
down, Schindler and Mansfield in the backfield. Probably once again in it will be a handoff to Mansfield, who is going for a touchdown and will get a touchdown here, just running the score up, but a flag in the end zone. We wonder what will be called there.
So I don't see this going against the Red Devils. There might have been something in the area.
I think that might have been a celebration call on Mansfield, which deservedly so. Mansfield cheering after his 4th touchdown of the game. He has been accountable for all of the touchdowns for the Red Devils this game so far.
Yeah, and if that is a touchdown, it's going to run down the clock, and the Red Devils are going to walk away with a victory. And I do believe, of course, they're going to credit him with it. And I guess it was like you call it a taunting call against Mansfield, but Red Devils are going to walk away with a victory here. And it's 9 Mansfield does take in for his 4th touchdown of the game. I want you to see this right here, Dave. Look at that. So he broke one man, and that man was number 11 for Silver Creek. What that was a bit, we mentioned that man coverage earlier. That actually ended up being a blitz. That was a zone more so that we just saw. So what 11 saw, he was trying to catch his area the whole time. Once he saw Mansfield kind of slip right past him on that left side, he figured there was no point in trying to catch up as that zone was still his. Mansfield took it all the way. He recognized that zone. He knew he wasn't going to leave that area, and he took it all the way to run up that score.
Yeah, and Mansfield kind of jumped over the line there as well. Magruder on to kick her 4th extra point of the game. She has been good on all of her 3 extra points so far in this game, looking to finish the night with a perfect 4-4. Magruder with the hold by Schindler, who just handed the ball off on that touchdown. The hold is good, and the kick is good as well, which will make this a 28-14 game here, which will almost assuredly be the final score. But who knows? We could see some fanatics by these Silver Creek Dragons on this kickoff here. There's still 11 seconds remaining on the clock.
Yeah, an excellent play here throughout the game by the Red Devils. I've loved watching this team play so far this season, and seeing this game just kind of blew that to the next level. And I mean, it's vintage Jeffersonville. You're going to see Zion Mansfield getting as many runs as he can, play at a more methodical pace. We've seen a more explosive game throughout the season. They decided to change it up against a pretty low-scoring Silver Creek team as well. And what happened there was this result right here. You're up 28-14. It's the exact result that happened against Floyd Central last week. The Highlanders took that one versus Jeff, and Jeff wasn't able to close the second half. They were able to do so this second half. In fact, I want to say they were even better than the first.
Yeah, most definitely here. Magruder looking to get the kickoff. A little bit of a further back kickoff, which may allow more of a return call, as the flagrant penalty on Mansfield was called in the end zone. Magruder with a far back kick. We saw one of those in the Floyd game, but that was on Floyd's side of the ball. We're looking to see Magruder's kick out here, as she has been 4 of 4. This is her first kickoff of the game here. Magruder getting ready to kick. She's fresh legs out there. And Magruder is about to be away. And the kick is off, and it will be a short kick there, caught by number 3, and it will be quickly stopped there by multiple defenders. That was Donovan Mosley with the reception. Only 5 seconds remaining on the clock here. Silver Creek Dragons have pretty much zero time to get 2 touchdowns. That's almost impossible, but who knows, crazier things have happened in football.
Yeah, I guess you could say that as many times, as we can say it. But, I mean, I just think this Red Devil defense and this Silver Creek offense, well, I think they're just going to run the clock out. There's really no point in keep going. You're under 10 seconds to go.
No point in keep going?
Yeah.
That's a big issue there. I doubt that will be their call here. as there will be receivers wide out. Maybe a Hail Mary call here. And it will be a passing call. And it will be a quick stop. And will there be a second remaining? No, there won't be. That will be a win for your Jeffersonville Red Devils. A 28-14 triumph over the Dragons. They have slain the Silver Creek Dragons here tonight at their own castle.
Yeah, excellent all-around game there by the Jeffersonville Red Devils. Finally able to walk away with their first victory of the season. It was a rough start to the season, I got to say, but, now the Red Devils, they're here in a reasonable fashion. Now you got a chance to finish the season with a tied record, maybe a winning record as well, heading into sectionals. You got a tough sectional matchup as well, but here's the thing, Nate. You had no momentum coming to this game. You have all the momentum in the world after it.
Yeah, and going into New Albany, it's a pretty tough opponent, but after this win, it's definitely going to have some great potential to be a big win. As the student section is waiting on the teams to stop their handshakes to storm the field here, as the Red Devils are going to receive their first win of the season here. I'd like to give a quick scoring recap. Zion Mansfield has accounted for 4 touchdowns in this game. The 2 touchdowns by the Silver Creek Dragons tonight came from Jamari Powell in a 15-yard grade receiving touchdown there, and the Red Devils cheer on the field with their cheerleaders, with the players. It is Aliens versus Cowboys tonight, as you see some extraterrestrial figures out there.
Yeah, great crowd tonight as well for Jeffersonville. I mentioned it when the broadcast first started and Mansfield broke away for that first rushing touchdown. The entire crowd got loud, even when they were, the backs against the wall. When third down was coming up, they would start cheering because they knew that getting this Red Devil team up and going was what was going to advance this team. And sure enough, that's what happened. You see the final score, 28-14. The Red Devils, they carried the momentum they had in the first half into that second half. It's what led them through. It's what got Zion Mansfield those 4 touchdowns. It's what got the speed of the game going up after playing so methodical in that first half.
And Blake, after that first Red Devils win, how are you feeling going into this New Albany game?
I mean, I don't see how you can feel anything but just excited if you're Jeffersonville.
I'm proud.
Yeah, I mean, you're going against a very tough New Albany team, by the way. New Albany, we mentioned their record earlier. I was surprised to see it at 1-4, and so I guess the Red Devils are now tied with New Albany for, I want to say, last place in the Hoosier Hills Conference. And this New Albany team is good. They're very talented. They got an excellent secondary. They got a transfer from Mail, who is ranked extremely high in the state of Kentucky, and I'm sure he's ranked extremely high over here in Indiana. And he's being looked at by multiple universities. He's a highly touted recruit. This New Albany team's got a lot of them. Of course, they have a smaller class this year. They had a quarterback, Darrell Simmons, who graduated just last year, and he led that New Albany team for quite a few years. And he's not there anymore. So if you're the Jeffersonville Red Devils, you got to kick this team. You don't want to say, well, they're down, but that's what they are. They're 1-4, and they've lost their star quarterback from the past few years. Definitely take over that New Albany Bulldog squad, and guess what? You're in Jeffersonville.
Yeah, and Mansfield, if he hasn't already, should be receiving many calls and mail from the collegiate colleges and coaches. And really quickly, I'd just like to wrap up tonight's game. I'm Nathaniel Gardner, joined by Blake Beams. It has been a great night and a great broadcast and a great game here tonight. Everyone at home has a great night. Signing off.